Thanks everyone for joining us. We are now live.
Are we recording?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Good evening بغزة. السلام عليكم. مساء الخير. معنا Iman. We have Iman Munia from Gaza who will join us today to talk about the disability justice panel that we will present today. But first and foremost, we are waiting for our medical colleagues in Nasser Medical Complex and in Al-Shifa Hospital to update us. We have been hearing the news, we have been in touch with them. The doctors are staggering in the hallways of hospitals from hunger. The meals have been discontinued in the hospital while the bombardments continue and while the atrocities by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation continue for people who are seeking aid. There is no food at all in Gaza, no matter how much money people have, they cannot find food to buy. This is a situation that is unimaginable. I don't think anyone of us imagined that things will get so bad to this degree, but here we are. So today we want to focus on Gaza. We want to focus on alhamdulillah, our colleagues from the Disability Justice. Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra, alhamdulillah, is here with us. When we see Dr. Al-Farra, it's like we feel a moment of comfort and we feel reassured. His reassuring kind presence gives us hope. Dr. Al-Farra, are you hearing me?
Hello.
Hello.
Yo, how's it going, everyone?
Hi. Is this
This
Dr.
is the
Al-Farra or is this his
this
son?
son.
Uh,
Supposed to be Dr. Al-Farra, but unfortunately he's a bit busy right now, so I think he will follow us in the next few minutes.
Tamam. Are you at the hospital, Ahmed, or are you at home?
No, I'm actually at home right now.
Okay.
It's so catastrophic in the hospital now.
We can only imagine. We can only imagine. We have been
Yeah.
hearing so much from our colleagues, and inshallah, we will get to hear from them more. I
Inshallah.
think we have to do some action and we are brainstorming together. So at the end of this webinar, we will open the webinar for discussion amongst our members and even our guests who want to join us in brainstorming. I think we are in need for a massive brainstorming. The calls from Gaza is for mobilizing and for action. And we will have time for that later. But Nidal, do you want to say something or talk to Ahmed? I know you like to talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, I want to also reiterate what you said and emphasize the importance of this webinar. And I know every time we say this not unusual, it's not a usual webinar, and unfortunately, every webinar, every Sunday, things are worse. So yes, this is not a routine webinar. This is an attempt to respond to one of the most brutal crimes unfolding in time, the deliberate starvation of an entire population. Gaza is being starved to death now, as we speak, in front of the whole world. Children are eating grass and drinking salt water. Doctors are collapsing mid-shift from hunger. Patients are dying not from disease, but from the engineered absence of food, medicine, electricity, and care. This is not famine. This is not a tragedy. This is a forced starvation. systemically imposed, globally funded, and politically protected. This is genocide. Over 800 people have been shot and killed trying to collect food at the fenced, what's so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation distribution centers, turned into execution grounds. The United States and Israel call it humanitarian relief. We call it a collective slaughter of starved children and young men looking for food. The disabled people, those who cannot run, walk, or stand in endless lines, are being left to die in silence, forgotten, dehumanized, disabled. And where are the global disability organizations, the United Nations agencies, the international medical institutions? They're all silent, neutral, absent in the face of genocide, mass starvation. Our colleagues in Gaza are working on empty stomachs, in collapsed hospitals, without supplies, often knowing they will not survive their shift. And they still save lives. They carry the wounded. They deliver babies under fire. Meanwhile, the aid is sitting just miles away, all blocked by a political decision, one that can be reversed today. So what do we say to the mother whose child is dying in her arms with nothing to eat? What do we say to a doctor with no tools, no power, and no hope left to offer? What do we say to ourselves as healthcare workers if we do nothing? Doctors Against Genocide is responding the only way we can, with urgency, with integrity, and with action. We are building a 140-unit bed emergency field hospital at Al-Shifa. Al-Shifa today has been the scene of one of the worst massacres from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Over 50 young individuals, starved individuals trying to get aid, were murdered today and brought to Al-Shifa with more than 100 injuries. Most of them are critically injured and many are expected to die. Al-Shifa Hospital was overwhelmed today, and they're still trying to cope with the amount of trauma and the mass casualty that they received just today from that death trap funded by the United States and its institutions. But again, we're not helpless. We are being held back by governments, institutions, and systems that protect war over life. But if the world will not act, we must. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Karama. Go ahead and start with our guests. We have gifts from Gaza. We have Dr. Movo King, who is the Special Rapporteur, the UN Special Rapporteur on the right to health. We have Dr. Nashat Umran with us here today. He is a nephrologist here in Michigan, and we want to hear from him about how to respond to the cases of acute starvation and acute malnourishment, what advices he has to share with us. Then we have our colleagues and friends from the disability organizations trying to speak up for the disabled people in Gaza and in Palestine and all over the world, unfortunately, who always get it worse than everyone else. Go ahead, Karam.
Thank you, Nidal. Because today is one of the worst days in our lives as we are listening to what is happening in Gaza, and because this is urgent, you will notice that we will be bringing people from the audience to the panelist list because we really want to brainstorm a global action together, and we want it to be powerful, we want it to be cohesive, and we want it to be united. We had a lot of discussions yesterday in the work group for Doctors Against Genocide. There is a lot of frustration that not enough people are mobilized. There is a lot of frustration that our colleagues are not listening to us. There is a lot of frustration that the hospitals, who should be caring about people all over the world, are basically doing nothing. And because of that, we are mobilizing everyone today to work together. Also, I just want to be reassuring to you all, even in the darkest of hours, we are not a few. There is a lot of us. We as an organization alone had grown so much beyond our wildest imagination. We have never imagined that people like you guys on this panel will be working together to achieve a goal together. So even though it seems bleak, I am quite hopeful that we will be able to do something together, and we have to stick to this hope. Not for us, but for our people in Gaza, for Dr. Abu Safiye, for Dr. Farra, for all our colleagues that we have gotten to actually care about them as if they are our own family and our own friends. And they are worth every minute that we spend thinking of how to mobilize to save them from hunger. Nidal, you're muted.
Yes, thank you, Karama. Again, our schedule, we keep it like this, that we stay flexible depending on the situation, because the colleagues from Gaza sometimes show up, sometimes they show up late. So we don't usually have a very fixed template to go with. But today we have two special guests, Dr. Movo King, the UN Special Rapporteur for the Right to Health, and we also have been just joined by Dr. Jill Stein, the candidate for last United States presidency. We would like to hear from them a few minutes each at the beginning. Then we'll go with the usual schedule if that's okay with everyone. Dr. Movo King, can you speak, please?
Good evening, colleagues. I'm coming to you from the car as I'm driving, having just arrived from Bogota, but I thought it was important to join.
Thank you.
Just again, it feels like we've been doing this for so long, and I want to acknowledge, our own strength and tenacity to keep connected in this way. And I think one of the clear weapons of imperialist violence is also cutting us off from each other and from our own humanity. And I think this space is really important. And I just want to acknowledge that we are people who are experiencing genocide, witnessing genocide. Some of us were children in apartheid South Africa, so we have our own post-trauma that we thought we had dealt with that is resurfacing in different ways, and yet remain so committed to what the moment requires right now. So I just wanted to acknowledge all of us, just as a community, as colleagues, how important this space is. And it is shifting, it is inspiring, especially for people like myself who within the multilateral system, things are not getting easier, they're actually getting harder, which is something that is a bit of a dystopian if you think about why these UN bodies and charters and declarations and resolutions were created to prevent atrocities and genocide. And yet those very tools, for us who use them in the way they were designed, are being harassed and intimidated in ways that I can't even share with you on this call. But Bogota was important because it gave us another opportunity to really bring to the fore the right to health as an independent right, but an inclusive right that allows us a new entry lens as we analyze the impact of this genocide, as we demand what must be happening in the immediate, in terms of immediate humanitarian support and aid at scale, at speed, but also to imagine a future, because there will be a future to imagine. And I think the right to health, because it's not just about health facilities, it's about safe potable water, safe nutritious food, safe housing, health environment, freedom from torture and ill treatment. All of those fundamental individual elements of the right to health have been destructed in multiple ways through this phase. And so I went to Bogota with a message for those member states and the different ministries to say, we need to deepen and start layering how we talk about what's happening in Gaza and the right to health, because it doesn't require, well, because it's so inclusive, we can use the right to health to expand and to talk about so much, including disability rights, which I actually wrote an opinion piece on and a press release last year already, just seeing at the types of targeted injuries that the children especially were being subjected to. And this is on top of the violence of targeting young men in terms of their kneecaps. And this has been something that's a particular strategy as well. So the amount of disability being created by the war, but also disability being created by famine and starvation in terms of children's mental health and cognitive development. And of course, the environment and the waste in terms of the military weapons. Who's going to clean up Gaza? Who's going to build the civilian infrastructure, which includes health systems? And so my message for me to them was that we need also the navy of all of these countries to actually go and break the siege and to actually go and deliver aid, because it's also one thing to keep talking about the ICJ and the courts and accountability. And if all of those 30 member states combined, who then have recently joined to the Hague Group, actually send their naval vessels there with aid and support, and actually demand that the UN Secretary General, deploys the UN peace security teams as well. That is one action that they can do regardless of any other judicial process. And so it was to remind them that there are things that they must and can do at the same time as the diplomatic work. And because the closing joint statement for the first time did reference the right to health, I was very encouraged in that we can perhaps then, all of us as a collective, find different ways, drawing from that joint statement, the fact that for the first time, the right to health was mentioned, and that the General Assembly was tasked with investigation and giving a report for this upcoming 80th session of the General Assembly. And just for context, colleagues, this is my last General Assembly in person, this 80th session coming up in October, as Special Rapporteur on the Right to Health. My last ever presentation as Special Rapporteur will be in June at the Human Rights Council in Geneva. So I think we do have an opportunity to be strategic on how we use my presence in the General Assembly, because my report will still focus on health and care workers, the oath takers, and how we are key for sustainable peace and security and development. That theme is specific for GA, but of course, it's important for this moment of genocide. And to use jurisprudence, to use the justiciability of the right to health, to have this conversation that encompasses the realization of the right to health, underlying determinants, but the use of domestic as well as regional courts, and of course the international courts in terms of what they can provide. But the domestic and regional processes is something that I said, it's something that must be pursued urgently, because we know that the right to health offers an opportunity for equal opportunity to realize comprehensive rights, but also it's important for a life of dignity, which we know right now does not exist in Gaza. And I hope that they did understand. And because the statement at the end, surprising to me as well, did mention that, and a time frame for the GA and a call to action to the GA, I think we should take that hook we should mobilize. And because I'll be in New York, hopefully I won't be sanctioned yet. There's threats of that, but hopefully I'll make it to New York, and with that work of the Hague Group, all of your work that you're doing as healthcare workers, with my focus on my report specifically on our rights as healthcare workers, it's important, I think, to really show the fact that we are not isolated. We may be trying to be silenced by the system, but we are definitely there. So a physical presence of solidarity is important. And in the lead up, I'm open to seeing what else we can do, colleagues. Without taking time of others who have other important feedback to give, I would like to yield and give you back the floor, as I've also just arrived at home. But the other important thing is that on my end, I continue to do urgent appeals to Israel as a member state. I continue to engage with the President of the Assembly, the Secretary General, the High Commissioner. All of that sort of UN background work continues. And then publicly, of course, is to still carry on that message and to do as much as we can to support even the people on the ground who are trying to access aid in different ways. So thank you very much, colleagues, and respect to all of you. And I'm sorry that I can't stay on the call. As I said, I had just arrived from Bogota, so I need to unload and get into the house.
Thank you so
Dr.
much,
Mofokeng.
Dr. Mofokeng. As always, it's always good to have you in our spaces because we are inspired by you. You give us strength, and we appreciate your leadership.
Thank you very much, colleagues.
Should we switch to Dr. Imran so that
I would rather go with Dr. Jill Stein, then we go to Dr. Jill Stein. Are you there if she's available? Because I don't know how long we're going to have her. Dr. Jill Stein?
she's not here.
Oh,
She, yeah. I wonder if that's another one. Yeah.
No, I did invite her. Usually she does not show up, but sometimes she does. Okay, so yeah, we can switch now. We have Dr. Nashat Imran. He's a professor of nephrology. He's the chief nephrology at Wayne State and Karmanos Center. He is also the associate program director of the residency at Wayne State. Dr. Imran is a great voice to have. In the last few days, we have been scrambling around to find what simple advices we can give to our people in Gaza who ran out of everything and they have no food, and what would be the most safe fluid or food they can have to avoid making their malnutrition and acute malnutrition worse and have more consequences. Even the doctors in Gaza, what's happening in Gaza is unnatural. It's unheard of in history. None of us, the whole medical community, no one in the world have ever faced such a catastrophe. Even when we went back to the guidelines of responding to malnutrition and starvation in the UN, in the UNICEF, none of them deals with something this scope, this acute, and this devastating. They always assume that while some people might be going through starvation, that there's still food available nearby that can be brought in, and they're putting guidelines how we can feed the people. Unfortunately, the situation in Gaza is different because there is nothing, not even at the hospital. The people coming to the hospital seeking food are not getting the help because the hospitals themselves don't have it. And we just were informed yesterday that the one meal a day that the World Central Kitchen used to offer the doctors and the nurses and healthcare workers at the hospital during this genocide in the past 20 months has ended as of today. So even doctors, nurses, everyone in these hospitals is going to be forced to work with no food themselves. That's why it's important to hear from Dr. Amran. Again, Dr. Amran said, I'm not an expert in this, and we know no one is expert in genocide this magnitude, but we are trying our best to give the most simple, the most practical advice. Thank you, Nashat, for joining us. All yours.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Refeeding syndrome, this is not a long presentation. It's going to take 5-6 minutes, only 3 slides. I know that the attention span for everyone is might be a little bit on the shorter side, and also wanted to condense as much information or relevant information as possible, especially that we have some colleagues from Gaza watching this. But refeeding syndrome, the background is yeah, the background is that adenosine triphosphate, or ATP for short, is how the body stores energy for later use, and also is an important and extremely essential step in forming DNA and RNA for normal cell turnover. And after the use of ATP, it becomes an ADP and sometimes AMP, or monophosphate. So you lose a phosphorus, at least one molecule of phosphorus, or even two. When you eat glucose, and again, glucose or carbs, there is an insulin surge. That's common knowledge. The problem is our body is extremely efficient in capturing the energy of each molecule of glucose. So, for example, when you study physiology or biochemistry in your first year in medical school, they will tell you one molecule of glucose turns into a 32 ATP molecules. That means you need at least this much of phosphorus for each glucose molecule you metabolize. So, with the insulin surge as well, you lower potassium level in the blood. So that's the problem. The problem is that if somebody is malnourished, by definition, their phosphorus and potassium stores are depleted. So if they get a meal that is rich in carbs, carbohydrates, glucose, or any sugar, that will cause severe acute hypophosphatemia and severe hypokalemia. And phosphorus is vital for muscle contraction and the health and the vitality of red blood cells. And hypophosphatemia is the only condition that affects all organs responsible for oxygen delivery. And we're talking here about the heart, lung, and red blood cells. With the heart, it can cause acute heart failure. With the lungs, causes respiratory depression because muscle contraction, and both heart and lungs depend on muscle contraction for their function. And red blood cells can cause severe hemolysis. So, with severe malnourishment, depleted ATP stores, as I mentioned, the introduction of high carb diet causes severe hypophosphatemia, hypokalemia, and hypomagnesemia. There are other vitamins and all of that, but is the one that really run the show. So carbs are worse in terms of safety and protection syndrome. Fat and protein are better, or at least if the only food available is carbs, there should be some high phosphorus and potassium supplementation. And not not to give ideas, but the Zionist regime, they know what they're doing, because the prisoners of war and people who survived concentration camps, this is how the refeeding syndrome was described. It was described on those people, so they know what they're doing. And if they want to cause mass casualty, you may hear a news one day that, you know what, we're gonna put in all food aid and food distribution all of a sudden. Because once you reduce a lot of crops on a mass scale, you will have actually mass casualty if somebody is not careful how much they replenish. As I mentioned, the thiamine and other vitamins are also important. So, what can people in Gaza do? If it is possible, food, fish, including fish bones, are extremely high in phosphorus. So do not throw fish bones. Dairy products, it doesn't matter. Whether it is cheese, laban, halib, any milk, it doesn't matter. Yogurt, any dairy products is high in phosphorus. Legumes such as beans, lentils, and chickpeas, hummus, adas, and ful, they're all rich in phosphorus. Seeds and nuts, which is good for, it's easily stored. Do not throw any seeds. Any seeds is higher in phosphorus, especially dried watermelon seeds. They are very high in phosphorus. Bone broth, if acidity was added, also increase the phosphorus
Nashat,
make the bone.
Nashat,
Yes.
don't mind. There's some problem with your connection. Is there a way to fix it? Because it's kind of breaking here and there. If there is a way, please to fix it. Because we want to hear everything you say. It's very important.
Um, I'm actually, my internet is down and I'm using the hotspot. So,
Oh, okay. Go ahead. It's okay. It's not
all right.
that bad.
Yeah. Any preserved food items, any canned food is rich in phosphorus beside the actual food inside the can because most preservatives are phosphorus based. So, my probably practical solution, or maybe for people, because I know, you cannot pick and choose. During the preparation of the bread mix, if you can crush any of the above in the mix, including and don't use just water if possible. If there is milk, dried milk, bone broth instead of the plain water, and include all of the above in the bread mix, and then that bread will be, although there might be some carbs in it, but it also will be high in phosphorus. Now, bones, unfortunately, like I'm sorry to say this, but bones, if is the last resort for phosphorus source. If it can be crushed into a fine powder and included in any meal, that will be helpful. One thing I may mentioned yesterday in the closed group discussion, anything grass is actually recommended against that because it's indigestible. There are certain grass that doesn't grow in Gaza. I believe that can be digested, but anything that passes through the GI or the stomach and the intestine without any digestion, that actually makes things worse because it makes you lose more water and electrolytes. So those are the things that I wanted to mention in refeeding syndrome, and I know wanted to open the chance for any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Imran. From our panelists here, do you have any questions for Dr. Imran? Because he might need to leave sooner. If you have any questions about the refeeding syndrome, medical, practical questions, he is here. And hopefully we can have him again next week and get also more experts. And I'm thankful, Dr. Imran, for showing up in the last minute invite for this, but it's because of just the unfolding urgent situation. We wanted to try to give any advice, any help that we can while we look for more resources and try to give more recommendations for our people there in Gaza, including our doctors. But thank you, everyone. Any questions?
Yeah. Yeah. So the one-liner of this presentation is that when they prepare the bread mix, they have to include all of the other food items I mentioned, and not make it entirely flour based. That's the one-liner out of this. And the list,
ممكن
I
نحكي هذا
don't know if
الحكي. Yes. ممكن can you say this بالعربي الله يخليك.
لما الواحد يحضر خلطة الخبز لازم يضيف كل المكونات الموجودة اللي عندها فوسفورس عالي. أنا حطيتها القائمة موجودة ما بعرف إذا لساتها موجودة
Yeah, the slide is there.
السلايد.
Yeah, read everything in Arabic, please. Yeah, please. احكيهم
اوكي.
بالعربي.
يس اي اكل بحري، سمك، خصوصا حسك السمك موجود موجود الفوسفورس بكثرة. اي حليب، جبنة، الأجبان والألبان بأنواعها، البقوليات زي الفول والعدس والحمص، الحبوب مع وأنواع البذر، خصوصا بذر البطيخ برضه الفوسفورس عالي فيه.
يعني يطحنوه يحطوه مع
أو
الطحين
حتى
ونعمل خبز او ياكلوه مثل
ممكن
ما هو.
مرقة اللحمة، خصوصا إذا حطت عليها الخل بخلي الفوسفورس يطلع من العظام بشكل أفضل. فأي خلال الطبخ، وأي معلبات، لأن المعلبات بيستخدموا الفوسفورس كمواد. فبغض النظر شو كمية الفوسفورس بالأكل نفسها بالمعلبات، ولكن المعلبات أفضل إشي. إذا إشي ناشف، ضروري إنهم يطحنوه ويحطوه مع خلطة الخبز، لأنه أنا عارف إنه في أولاد صغار يمكن يعني ما يتقبلوا أكل معين أو إلى آخره، ما بعرف. بس يعني آه، أي شيء مستساغ حطوه بخلطات الخبز إذا موجود.
دكتور نشأت thank you so much for very
تفضل.
useful information, very useful. راح أحكي بالعربي وبعدين أحكي بالإنجليزي في سؤال، لأنه إذا بتقدر تجاوب بالعربي.
في واحدة another thing أنا كنت بدي أحكي شغلة حكيتها I said it in English، بس خلينا نحكيها بالعربي. أي شيء عشب لا يمكن هضمه وبيطلع خلال البراز لازم يبعدوا عنه، لأنه هذا بيأذي ما بيفيد.
اوكي. في كتير ناس بدهم السلايدات تبعتك تكون مترجمة بالعربي،
أكيد.
فإذا
I sent it so in the chat group I sent it. بعته
بالعربي.
yeah like 10 minutes. لا بالعربي.
بالعربي شو؟
I'll make it Arabic. Yeah.
اوكي.
بدنا اياهم بالعربي. وفي سؤال
أكيد.
انه في سؤال، هل حليب الام البريست ميلك فيه فوسفورس؟
موجود يس. المشكلة كميته قليلة جدا، يعني
Okay.
يعني مو عملي.
So there is very small amount of phosphorus in
Yes.
breast milk.
لا it's not the problem in the amount of phosphorus. It has phosphorus. It's very high in phosphorus. The problem is مشكلته انه كمية الحليب الام اصلا قليلة. فيعني اذا متوفر اكيد، بس يعني غالبا بدها الام تضيف شغلات كمان.
Yeah, but I
بس
imagine لما تكون الام starved الحليب كمان
Yeah.
بيكون قليل بالفوسفورس. اوكي.
أنا بدي بس أكد على كمان نقطة. I know the people in Gaza are sick of canned food because that what they have been eating the last 2 years.
That
Now
saves
they're
their
running
life.
away.
That's
But
saving
please,
life actually.
what's that?
That's saving their lives. The preservatives
So
in the canned food is helping against the hypophosphatemia. So it's actually like even if they want to add some water inside the can and drink it to get
So
all the phosphorus. Unfortunately, this is what we have to do.
this is an advice to our people in Gaza. I know you are sick of canned food, but canned food has a lot of phosphorus. And if you have been starved for a long time and you're offered choices of food all of a sudden, please include the canned foods. I know you are sick of it, but it's important because it has a high amount of phosphorus. It's going to save your lives from the refeeding
احكيها
syndrome.
بالعربي نضال.
بدي احكيها بالعربي لأهلنا في غزة. احنا عارفين انكم زهقانين من اكل المعلبات، والكم سنتين كل اكل تاعكم معلبات.
دكتور
هو مش
دكتور لو
اكل.
سمحت
لو سمحت خلينا نكمل. بس هو الاكل معلبات
لو سمحت بس اتفضل.
خلينا نكمل جملة لست إيمان. خلينا نكمل جملة بعدين بتحكي. أكل معلبات الأكل مش صحي. بس في هاي الحالة إذا في ناس كانوا جعانين لمدة طويلة وما أكلوا ولا شيء، وعرض عليهم أكل كله نشويات أو أكل فيه معلبات، اختاروا الأكل معلبات، أو على الأقل كلهم اثنين مع بعض ما ترموا المعلبات، لأن المعلبات فيها كمية فوسفور وأملاح مهمة جدا حتى تحمي صحتكم من مرض الريفيدنج سيندروم أو المضاعفات اللي بتصير للناس إذا كانوا جوعانين لمدة طويلة وما أكلوا. تفضل إيمان.
إيمان
إيمان
من غزة معنا من
يس. إيمان
الديسابيليتي
تفضل.
جروب.
يس إيمان.
بدي أعلق بس على كلام الدكتور نشأت لو سمحت. إحنا ساكنين بغزة، وإحنا عندنا أرخص إشي بالمعلبات حاليا تكلفته علبة الفول، وبتكفيش لشخص أو شخصين، تكلفتها $10. وبعدين اصلا المعلبات اصلا اهل غزه حاليا حرفيا مش موجوده، او اذا موجوده باسعار خياليه. حتى الحليب من يومين كان بينباع رايح تاريخه، والناس بتشتري الكيلو والله انه كانت الناس بتشتري الكيلو ب$60. هم عارفين انه تاريخه رايح، لكن الناس من كتر المجاعه كانت تشتري هذا الحليب. السمك اللي يعني الكيلو الواحد، لانه الصيادين طبعا بيغامروا بانفسهم عشان يجيبوه، ارخص كيلو ب$30. وهي حياتنا بغزه، انت بتحكي لي على كاند فود وهيك، وفيش شيء اصلا لحمه بتدخل. واذا كان شيء بيدخل البروس، اللام بروس اللي مرقه اللحمه عندنا اصلا ايش اصلا مش موجوده، واذا ان وجدت يعني بيخلطوها اغلبها بالميه، وهي اصلا مش موجوده. وغلطوها بالماجي بروس. واصلا هذه كل هالاشياء اللي بتحكوا عليها حاليا والله ما هي بغزة موجودة، وانتم بحكي لكم حرفيا واحنا بنعيش. بتعرفوا الليمون نفسه، الليمون انه السيترس تبعه ملح الليمون والله بغزة انه 3 جرامات السيترس، انه 3 جرامات ب$1.50. تخيلوا لوين وصلنا بغزة. بس انا بس تخلصوا يعني عندي هيك
أنا
بدي
أخت
اشارك،
إيمان
بس تخلصوا. شكرا كثير.
أخت إيمان شو المتوفر حاليا عشان أقول لك هذا أفضل من هذا أو هذا أسوأ من هذا.
حاضر. المتوفر حاليا وبأسعار خيالية طبعا، يعني إذا بحكي لك على الكيلو، يعني إن عندك عائلات كبيرة، عندك كيلو العدس، كيلو العدس ب$25، وكيلو الحمص ب$25. حرفيا أنا بحكي لك أنا من المعاناة، وأنا يعني صاحبة تجربة. كيلو المعكرونة ب$35، وكيلو الطحين بيتراوح سعره حسب إدخال الشاحنات من 30 ل$50. وكمان إذا انباع بالأرغفة، الرغيف الواحد صغير بنباع ب$3. تخيل لوين وصلنا إحنا بغزة. إحنا عشان عايشين المأساة والتجربة، إحنا بنحكي لكم من عمق التجربة اللي إحنا بنعيشها.
أخت إيمان البقوليات أفضل 100 مرة من الطحين والنشويات. يعني إذا متوفر الاثنين خلي الأولوية للبقوليات.
ممتاز. بس احنا عندنا الصغار بيشبعوش، دايما بده خبز، وجربنا كتير. والطفل يعني احنا عندنا بالذات الاطفال وكبار السن، واحنا من تجربه بحكي لك انه الاطفال كبار السن حسب تجربتنا ايش ما طعميهم بقوليات او رز بيحكي لك انا بدي خبز. وانا بحكي لك حرفيا انا مجربه، يعني انا اصلا بعيش بالمجاعه هذه يعني.
أنا
وانا بحكي لك اياها بكل مصداقيه، وهذه شهاده للتاريخ مش لكم لحالكم.
هل ينخلط أثناء عمل الخبز ينخلط البقوليات؟ أخت إيمان
يعني الواحد مش عارف شو يحكي. It's a very difficult moment when we are trying to give advice about different categories of food and there is nothing available. This is so embarrassing for every one of us that even the advice we give is not even possible to take because of the absolute horrific lack of everything that can be used as nutrients. So I completely hear the utter frustration in the voice of Iman. We share this frustration. صدقيني احنا مخزيين منكم يا إيمان. ما تفكري انه احنا يعني عم نحكي وانه مش عارفين اللي عم بيصير، عارفين. بس الدكتور نشأت يعني trying to give his expertise لانه لما يكون الاشي موجود انه الواحد يعرف كيف يتصرف اذا صار. بس اهم من كل اشي انه يدخل الاكل، مش بس
احنا
نقعد
عارفين
نحكي.
احنا عارفين هذا الاشي، وعارفين احنا اصلا. انا لما اشارك راح احكي لكم اشياء صادمه انتم اصلا ما يعني بحكم يعني سكني بغزه، وانا اصلا صاحبه تجربه. يعني وانا اصلا بعيش هذا الواقع. راح احكي لكم تفاصيل من خلالها يعني، واكيد وغيري راح يحكي لكم وراح تمروا بناس. ومن خلال التفاصيل اللي راح اورد لكم اياها راح تكونوا يعني الحل الوحيد راح من حالكم انكم راح تعرفوا ايش ممكن يتقدم لاهل غزة بعد. يعني ان شاء الله ما احكي يعني تجربتي او تجربة غيري، يعني ان شاء الله بهاليوبينار. شكرا لك.
ماشي
Iman,
ماشي
but people are asking for a quick translation for what Iman is saying. What Iman is saying is that canned food is not available. Canned food is being sold for almost hundreds of dollars. Flour is not available. Vegetables is not available. So all the advice that we are trying to help with by saying, maybe complex carbohydrates and high protein content that has high phosphorus is much better regarding, especially for refeeding syndrome. It's very difficult to follow the advice for a population that has no access, and even the milk, she's telling us, even the milk, the expired milk, the 1 kilogram sells for like $60, she said, or something like that. So the situation is beyond what is possible.
And-
What is particular about Gaza also is that people cannot even go, like, cannot run from Gaza and go to another place that has food. Everybody is trapped.
And I want to amplify what you said, that this is not just embarrassing, this is beyond criminal, that we are even forced to talk about such a topic and give such advice to the people of Gaza, knowing that they have 3 months of food, medications, all the supplies that they need, only a mile or two away from them. And it's only being stopped by America, the leader of the free world. This is a message to the American people. You, America, your government is starving 2.3 million people intentionally. They are not asking you for money. They are not asking you for aid. The aid is there. All what they need is only 2-3 miles away. Stop being criminal, America. Stop being complicit. This goes to every American, every leader, every politician, every institution, Harvard, Columbia, the Ivy Leagues, all the universities, American Medical Association. Shame on you. Shame on you, because all what the people in Gaza are asking for is for us to let the food, the 2-3 month supply of all the food that they need, sitting there on the border 2 miles away, to get to them. And it's you, America, that's stopping this, because you are playing Israel genocidal game, and you're helping Israel to starve to death and exterminate a whole people. This is intentional. It's not a natural disaster. It's not just the people of Gaza out of nowhere. They have nothing. There is everything for them. It's available. No one is asking you for money. The UNRWA, the World Central Kitchen, the World Food Program, the UNICEF, Oxfam, more than 400 international NGOs are saying we have enough food and supplies for 3 months. It's sitting there 2 miles away. We can get it in within 1 hour. We have the capacity to distribute. We have the logistics. We have the personnel. We can do it in 2-3 hours to solve all this problem. And because just America enjoys to be a genocider, to play the extreme right government of Israel, to commit the genocide and get rid of the Palestinian people, we are faced to deal with this. This is not just shameful, not just embarrassing, not just going to put you on the wrong side of history. This is criminal. You are committing a mass murder. You are committing a mass murder of more than 1 million children in Gaza who have nothing to eat now and collapsing every day. Every day we listen to our colleagues in Gaza. Every day the hospitals, every emergency room are having children coming, dying, not because they're sick, not because of injuries. Plus, of course, we have the 20,000 children who have been murdered by our bombs. But now there is mass death in Gaza from pure forced starvation. So thank you, Iman, for making the message clear. Thank you, Dr. Imran. I think
I'm going to add something.
Go ahead.
Regarding the expiry of the milk, is it powdered milk or is it fresh milk? أختي مان الحليب اللي بتحكي عنه
It's powdered.
تفضلي.
It's powdered milk, and people had to buy it for this exorbitant price because they need it for children and they have nothing to eat, and it's an alternative for sugar. Here that we don't have sugar. Sugar is the kilo of sugar is, you don't believe, can't believe, it's for $120.
The expiration date بالعادة is very conservative. يعني ما إن شاء الله ما راح يكون في أي تسمم أو أي مضاعفات، حتى لو إنه أسبوع أسبوعين أو حتى بزيادة كمان إذا powdered milk. وبشكل عام إذا if you boil the water أو إذا بتغلي المي for like 5 minutes there shouldn't be any issue.
Mariam, you have your hand up. Did you want to say something, Dr. Shitab? You're muted. You're muted.
So we have a lot of people watching who are not doctors. And so the concept of refeeding syndrome gets a little technical. But, like Dr. Imran said, post-World War II, when people were starved the way they're being starved in Gaza, we found out that you actually have to be very careful about monitoring their electrolytes and their calorie intake. Because if you feed them too quickly and too much without watching the electrolytes, they will actually die. Um, so, and as Dr. Jabour said, every protocol that we have been able to find across organizations assumes a couple of things: that you have the ability to give basic electrolyte supplementation, and that you have some sort of nutritionally dense food that you can control calorie intake. And that's every single protocol we have found. That's what it assumes. And Gaza has none of that. Gaza has been out of reagents to run basic lab tests for months. We've had speakers on this webinar talk about that. So they can't monitor electrolytes. Everything that we're talking about right now, we are completely off the beaten path because the world has created a situation where doctors and experts have never encountered, trying to mitigate starvation on this level. So, like, I'm looking at these questions here. No, we're not telling people to stop eating the flour. That is all they have available. We are literally just desperately trying to get creative and figure out how might they add electrolytes there with what they have. No, they don't have access to, like, roots and things like that. Less than 5% of Gaza's cropland is available for cultivation. They cannot go easily fish because the Israelis shoot at people who go into the water. The fishermen cannot fish. They're like squeezed into less than 15% of their landmass right now. So everything we're talking about, this is not tried and true. We can't give them ratios. We can't do any of that. We have literally never encountered a situation where you have a trapped population being starved to death, and we're scrambling trying to figure out how might we get them just a little bit more electrolytes, just a little bit more protein, so maybe more people live just long enough for us to try and break this siege. This is like completely uncharted territory. um, and I don't want that to go unrecognized when we're getting technical about it. Like, this is insane to us as doctors. Like, the number of us that have probably cried, trying to think about how to manage this for people in Gaza. I mean, I never thought we would be in a position like this as American doctors. In America, you do not see refeeding syndrome outside of like two select populations: severe alcoholics who have not been eating for long periods of time, and anorexics. And they are monitored in a hospital setting. Gaza has none of this whatsoever. And so, this is a Hail Mary. This is just being, hey, this thing historically has some electrolytes if you can access it. But yeah, as Iman is saying, they can't access it. This is just, it's embarrassing. So I want people to understand that this is not some carefully controlled protocol we're putting out here. This is just, I don't know. Like, we're at a loss for words, just listening to all of it.
Yeah, and this is why I wanted to again, I ended up with the one-liner. Just نصيحة واحدة. When you make the bread, include all of the above in the bread mix. That's the only way you can have one advice for everybody, if possible.
Thank you, Dr. Imran. And again, we are lost for words. We're lost for solutions. We are honored to have Dr. Jill Stein here with us today. She has been into the political game. She might have an insight about what can we do, because we cannot just continue business as usual. This is criminal. It's done by our government. Dr. Jill Stein might have more insights how we can, as a medical community, as American people, seeing all these crimes, horrendous crimes, being inflicted in our name, in front of our eyes, a whole people being starved to death, and all of us just sitting here helpless. And even when we come and tell them, oh, take this because that might be safer, they will say, but we don't have this. How am I going to get it?
Right.
So please, Dr. Gilstein, thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming. We appreciate your voice. Please go ahead. What advice do you have for us? What can you share with us? What can we do as Americans? Because America is the only country in the world that is committing this. Everyone else, including our allies, Canada, Britain, everyone is jumping off this stinky, criminal, genocidal Holocaust ship, except the United States of America. So please, thank you.
Exactly. Can you hear me? Let's see.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can. Okay, great. So, I can't thank you enough for continuing to lift us all up as the incredible courage of the people of Gaza, the medical providers of Gaza who are not only being murdered and shot and bombed, but now also starved themselves. But also a big thank you to Doctors Against Genocide, who are struggling in an incredible uphill battle to try to fight this fight from the belly of the beast. The country which is actually responsible, every bit as responsible as Israel, without US dollars, without US weapons, without US diplomatic protection, this would not be happening. And as Dr. Jabbour said earlier, the solution is within 3 hours, stop protecting Israel's blockade. And essentially it's over. It's over as quickly as Ronald Reagan's phone call to Menachem Begum in the 1990s, which said, end your bombing. And the bombing was over and done with within hours. So this is within our power, especially us here in the US of A, where all of our political misleaders are responsible and must be held accountable, including some $500 million that was just appropriated in a bipartisan fashion in order to maintain the Iron Dome, which essentially maintains Israel's impunity, allows Israel to continue this genocide. It is especially outrageous because the world is mobilizing against this now, and public opinion has so profoundly turned against Israel and US complicity, in fact, and that's true around the world. It's true in the Hague Group, which is now mobilizing to actually take economic action, to undertake military boycotts and so on. There's a profound 180 in public opinion that's taken place over really just the last couple of years. Excuse me. And that's especially in this country. So I just want to underscore that we're in a very fluid situation. In this country, those who've been involved in healthcare organizing here know how very hard it is, even amidst all the riches in the US, even right here, to achieve adequate healthcare and just healthcare, even in the United States. So, the lesson of that struggle which is what drove me from clinical medicine into political medicine. It's the mother of all illnesses, our political system that works against we the people. It makes it so critical that we the people come together and use the power of our unifying values of this incredible disaster that we are the master of. We are the master of this disaster. And we, the people, have the numbers. New polls are out showing that Democrats have descended further below their record-setting polls of even a month ago. There's enormous potential. Most people are living outside of the political consensus. And it's just a question of how we draw these forces together to become an effective force. We're losing on all fronts, not only the moral front, not only on the issue of genocide and criminality. We are losing here in this country as well with the rise of fascism, the war on immigrants, the war on working people, the struggle for basic health and housing. We're losing on all those fronts. And to my mind, it's so important. And the genocide in Gaza has such potential to really, around which people can coalesce, because there is no room for debate about what's going on here. And the heroism and the bravery of those who are fighting this genocide can go a long way, I think, to help bring people together in a broader coalition to fight this. And I look forward to the discussion after our conversation today, as to what new kinds of strategies need to be thought of, because it's a maxim in this country, in the US, for healthcare organizing, that you cannot do it with healthcare alone. you really have to bring coalitions together. And even then it's a very uphill battle, but at least we have critical mass. We have the numbers, and we have the power of the vision and our values. And thanks so much to all of you at Doctors Against Genocide for really lifting us all up with your courage and your bravery. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stein. We want to hear from Iman now. Iman, thank you for being patient. The stage is yours. بتحكي عربي, بتحكي إنجليزي, whatever you feel like. Please let us know what's
Yes.
happening.
No, I will speak English in order to document my document my testimony for history. And maybe in Gaza today I am survivor. Tomorrow I don't know. Every moment in Gaza means life. We live by moment, live by moment, not by day by day. Last Friday, a hunger revolution broke out, and uprising in all Gaza Strip against vendors and greedy merchants due to the skyrocketing food prices. Markets were closed the last 2 days. Everyone starved to anguish has joined the first movement against flour traders in particular. After the hungry, multi-displaced people adopted the slogan, either we all eat or we all starve together. Since last Friday, anyone caught with flour is beaten, robbed, or even stabbed. That's why vendors stopped setting up their stands and street stalls in the market. Crowds of exhausted people are now sitting in the empty central markets in Gaza from early dawn until after sunset, waiting for anyone passing by with goods, especially flour. Not caring to airstrikes, not caring to drones. All of this became nothing beside or if compared with getting food. To illustrate further, if someone suddenly appears from the horizon, a massive stampede, people, floods, everyone desperately is willing to buy anything to end a round of a battle of severe hunger. Last Friday, there was a rush only for canned olives, even though some olives don't satisfy cramped stomach. But it's still food. And that rush happened with low quality type of chips and other things. That day, my sister Ala, with total blindness, went with my sister Wissam to buy something for us to eat. She came across a man with a box containing cooking or frying oil, tahiniya, and spaghetti. Amidst the flood of stampede, she kept begging him to give her anything, while people pushed violently. Hopelessly, she couldn't take any bag despite high prices. Imagine 400 grams of spaghetti were at $15. The market relies solely with anyone passing by with a small amount of food. For example, 2 kilos of flour, half a kilo of lentils, a kilo of rice, or a can of a liter of frying oil. Or someone may be walking around selling a kilo of rice to exchange it for a kilo of flour. In all cases, there is a suffocating rush on the seller with these limited quantities. Last Friday, my sister encountered 2 men with Vita cheese. I want you to concentrate now. She asked one, how much per pack? She had a shocking answer. I don't sell by pack. I sell the Vita by gram. 6 grams for $1. This Vita, before genocide, we didn't use it. But in the genocide, the pack of Vita was for $1, was for 70 cents. Yesterday, after long hours walk under the scorching sun, and after 50% commission of withdrawing money, We managed to buy 2 kilos of flour, which Ala 3 kilos of flour, which Ala could get just because of being with visual disability, and a kilo of rice just because the seller needed to exchange it with flour. Imagine, incredible, illogical. 2 kilos of flour plus a kilo of rice cost $150 plus $150 commission fee. There's shooting everywhere, fighting everywhere, just to get some food or a piece of bread. Vendors sometimes don't accept the paper money since it's worn out, and a few persons are hardly found to withdraw cash money with high commission, reaches up from 40% to 50%. There, hundreds of people gather with their mobiles, and others are existing to steal either mobiles or the money withdrawn. Basic food needs are available according to the random chance of finding sellers passing by. You have to buy at the price they decide or dictate, based on their mood. No bargaining, because one of the crowd will certainly snatch it. We bought a kilo of lentils at $25 and 10 loaves of bread, each of $3 for yesterday's only meal. Hunger in Gaza is terrifyingly real and perhaps soon lethal. We are facing days where people are likely to die in groups. They will collapse wherever they're forced to be due to severe and striking hunger. No one here in Gaza, despite bombardment and multiple displacement, talks about aggressive escalation. The only topic is flour. Here, people are dying slowly and horrifically, feeling their weak bodies waste away before them. What has happened to us? Children gather around garbage bins, searching for anything to silence their empty stomachs' screams. They gathered around abandoned falafel stall, collecting leftover crumbs to eat. Since when has loss become the daily bread for unguilty children? Children who were unjustly targeted, who, whose mothers were bombed while waiting in line for a nutritional supplement some days ago in Deir al-Balah, which has been given evacuation orders today. Children and mothers were killed queuing with empty containers for water in Al-Nusayrat. Since when their small faces knew wailing before laughter? The child in Gaza doesn't just cry, but his voice bleeds from profound pain. He bitterly screams, but no one in the world is ready to hear. There is an activist called Mariam Kosh, recounts on her Facebook, Mariam Kosh. This conversation I overheard between a Gazan mother and her son, not older than 6, truly pained me. He screamed at her, "You're the reason. Why didn't you get me bread?" She replied in a voice hoarse with grief, "God willing, we'll be murdered together, and God's mercy is vast." A colleague of mine posted, "My son says, I'm in a hurry to go to heaven, paradise. There is food and drink, plentiful there, and no hunger. In Gaza, children are growing up under the whine of warplanes, shells, and unceasing explosions. Instead of learning fruit names, instead of getting to know schools and teachers, they are obliged to learn missiles names, bombs, and the types of aircrafts, separating them from their beloved friends and family members. They found themselves keeping the vocabulary of humanitarian disasters: displacement, water container, charity kitchen, tarps, famine, shrapnel, rubble, and so on. And I will tell you some of the prices found in the market. You know, in the market, something or things that are not found at all. Things that are not found. Lemon is not found. Also, chocolate for children is not found. Milk is not found in Gaza. You believe? Vegetables are more than expensive. Fruits, except for local products like grapes and figs, but for at very high prices. An ounce of figs is at $15. It's and it's 250 grams. Something that might be found according to the according to the Israeli occupation or to the merchants. Maybe flour, but for at high prices between $30 and $50. It reached up to $60. Also, there is chickpeas. $25. Lentils, a kilo of lentils is at $25. Beans also for at $20. That's it in the market. Rice sometimes found it's at $50. You don't, here in Gaza we forgot kinder, we forgot mango, we forgot lemon, we forgot bananas. Here in Gaza, sugar, kinder, you know, it's kinder, the small piece of kinder is for children is at $25. The small piece, it's a disaster. Also, last Friday, my sister Shayma called her friend in Al-Nusayrat to see if there is flour in their area to secure our food for just a day. The answer was unexpectedly shocking. I'm pregnant and my stomach is cramping severely from hunger, feeling like I would miscarry and lose the fetal. And my children are all young. What can she do? Since last Friday, the Palestinian Ministry of Health confirmed unprecedented numbers of starvation in Gaza. You know, here in Gaza, the situation is very, very, very unbearable. Yesterday, I called my sister Dua, who lives in Tel El Hawa in western Gaza. She has a child with intellectual disability, and he constantly needs diapers, and due to his disability doesn't understand hunger. He always screams for bread. His parents couldn't provide bread, so she got him a nutritional supplement after 6 hours wait in the line. She told us that people, in order to get food, she is my sister, she's not someone strange. She's not one from I mean not strange, my sister. To get for example, to get food, she told us that they have to go to the charity kitchen اللي هي التكية at 4 a.m. early morning just to get why just to get a card for their turn number, and then return at about 10 a.m. to get the soup. Her 15-age son's turn was 31, but the rations or pots have been emptied. And what was in them? The meal offered was a soup, a mixture of lentils, pumpkin, and eggplant. Something unimaginable, but famine is behind all this. She told us that she would sell some furniture wood to get money so that she can buy something to keep her children alive. Many people are now selling their belongings too in order to get food. A journalist is offering his camera and journalistic equipment for sale to find a morsel of food. Yes, we have reached this point, selling everything, even giving our blood for a loaf of bread. If starvation doesn't move the negotiator and slow this doesn't concern the decision maker, what logic justifies this man-made famine? History will document that the people under genocide in Gaza starved only because leaving them starving is easier and less valuable than listening to them. There are no lives in Gaza. Everyone here is dead. But some die all at once. Some die piece by piece. Every parting from a loved one is a harsh death by pieces. People in miserable tents in Gaza are breathing, but they're half alive in facts. They are half alive. Activist, I follow her on Facebook. She's called Najia Mahmoud. Recounts on her Facebook account, a mother couldn't provide her children bread, so she gave them cough syrup to sleep from hunger. She stayed night with her husband, watching their children's breath every hour, as if apologizing to them for this life. Imagine putting your children to sleep by force, not because you're busy or they're tired from playing, but from hunger. Imagine fearing child's hearts may stop from hunger alone. Doctor, another doctor specialist in health, psychological health, he also writes that a friend living in a neighboring camp told me that he couldn't sleep at night due to the screaming and crying of the children in the nearby tent. The man tried in vain to sleep, but he went out to see what was happening. He was shocked to know that fathers were sitting each at the entrance of his tent. When the man asked, fathers told him, "We can't see our children weeping in pain without being able to give them anything to silence their hunger." Dr. Saeed adds, "My friend cried while he telling the story and said with a sigh, I praise Allah I praise Allah for the missing of delayed parenthood, because I know I couldn't bear to see my child cry from hunger without killing myself." The man always hoped before the genocide to have a baby, yearning for a child to fill his world with joy. He has been waiting for 7 years to discover amid the famine that infertility in Gaza is a great blessing. In our land, humans' dignity is measured by crumbs left to them, crumbs that neither nourish nor satisfy. Here in Gaza, we write our names in blood on bread. We hang our hearts on aid boxes. We walk on severed roads as if we drag the homeland behind us on a rope of longing and death. Gaza will never die, but its people die in horrific silence moment by moment. The greatest joy here, believe me, is now a bag of flour, a spoon of sugar. A young man recounts walking over 7 hours carrying a food box. 7 hours, drenched in sweat, yet smiling because he finally reached his tent that became a homeland and to feed his hungry family. How could Israel and this hypocritical world transfer us into people want bread, from a people who have dreams, from Gaza that was beautiful. And you know, Gaza was very beautiful. And I want to tell you something very important. Very, very important. Here in Gaza, some people can't go to get food from the trucks, can't loot the trucks. Why they can't loot the trucks here in Gaza? Because they don't have one of the following conditions. Listen to the conditions that help people and qualify people to loot from the trucks or from the GHF. The aid seeker mustn't go alone, because in these traps, the time is limited and the cross distance is tremendously long to gather as much as you can of the aids. And about looting the aid trucks, one person must climb onto the truck and throw the food box or the flour bag to person waiting below. The person must be capable of charging into the intense crowds and snatching from people who managed to get some food from the trucks. Also, they must be tall and physically strong. Otherwise, if there are some qualifications also, the only solution is to belong to a well-known family with a weapon or be affiliated with a specific faction. But if none of the above mentioned qualifications not found, either you have to buy from the market at exorbitant prices decided by the greedy merchants, or stand in the long lines in charity kitchen, or die of hunger. And I want to tell you something shocking. Merchants here in Gaza don't live like Gazans. They are a very separate class. They live more than in America and more than in Singapore. They have everything they want, and everything they don't want in large, very imaginary amounts. People who choose one of these painful solutions, death or markets, are people with disabilities, the sick, the elderly, the young children, and many women. Activist Hussam Maruf published on his Facebook account a week before, he saw an elderly man walking in the market when there was a market in Gaza, begging a pickle seller to give him only one piece of pickle to eat, swearing he hadn't eaten for 4 days. The man said that he had begged several sellers to give him anything to eat, but everyone refused his request. The man looked up at the sky, weeping tears of anguish. In his eyes was unbearable sorrow. With his bent back, he walked away without getting anything, because one of the stall vendors told him that he's a worker who couldn't handle the goods. Hussam said, I followed the man and gave him some money, knowing it wouldn't solve his problems or silence his hunger. Have you seen what we reduced people to? What value does life or homeland have? When elderly people are starving, what meaning does our existence hold when the elderly lose their dignity and are humiliated like this? A human dies under the rubble in Gaza. But the truth is, rubble is no longer piled on houses. Here in Gaza, rubble are not piled on houses. It's piled on souls. Rubble is piled on souls here in Gaza. Here in Gaza, you know, to know children. Why children here? Why the children here is born to witness famine and displacement or sole survival? Why is a loaf of bread becoming a military target? Why are people in Gaza stripped of their humanity? Today, after people looted from the flour trucks, flour flooded the markets in slightly cheaper price, but flour vanished suddenly because merchants are not informed if there is coordination to allow these trucks in Gaza or not. In the market, a man was selling a glass of soup, saying that it's lamb broth. People buy it, believing it's rich by nutrition. A man bought 7 kilos. Also, there's another disaster. A man bought 7 kilos of flour at $50 for each, plus 50% commission withdrawal for his family of 50 members. Perhaps he hosts displaced in his house. They rejoiced, but when they need it, they discovered it was cement. He's not the only case in Gaza. Many here exploit people's desperate need for flour. Finally, the solution represents not in strikes and not in slogans. It lies in one thing only: international pressure to allow sufficient regular food supplies in Gaza. Also, there should be a fair distribution to the hungry people in accessible delivery locations without hardship. Save what remained of human. Gaza is being exterminated by long famine, by intensive chilling, by shocking losses, not loss, by multiple displacement, and thank you.
Iman, thank you so much for giving us this very, very comprehensive and very informative overview. You really made us live with you in Gaza and feel the pain, feel the hunger, feel the struggle to get aid and understand the dynamics in Gaza. Of course, you know, when a society is under such pressure, there will be ills of society, and you described them extremely well. And all I can say is we are with you, and we will continue to fight for all of the people in Gaza to have a dignified life, inshallah, and have your human rights and the right to health, most importantly. And
Karam,
yeah,
can I
please.
just say something, please? Iman, thank you. I think you just provided us with the most damning testimony of the darkest chapter of our history that is happening on the watch of the United States, being the leader of the world and the leader and the main participant in this genocide. Allah yahmiki wa Allah yafrijha. Thank you for this. Thank you for this testimony. Your testimony will go down history as a criminal or an incriminating evidence of everything the West has done to the people in Gaza and Palestine. Thank you, Iman, and God protect you. Inshallah, it will get better soon. We are lost for words. We don't know what to say because you said it all. Thank you. Go ahead, Karam.
Dr. Victoria Rose is with us, and we would love to hear from her. She has been on multiple missions to Gaza. She is a consultant plastic surgeon, and she is a specialist in microsurgical reconstruction, and she is a friend of the people in Gaza. Dr. Rose, if you have a moment to say hello to us and speak with us, we would very much like to hear from you.
Oh, thanks. Thank you very much for having me.
Dr. Rose,
Um,
before you start, it seems the background is coming off. If you can disable your background, please, because we cannot see you. Maisa, how can she disable
I think you
background?
just remove the virtual background. It looks like you have some sort of a
lighting
green
problem.
screen or something. That's, yeah.
Um,
How can she remove the virtual background?
It's
What?
the
hold
video
on.
icon at the bottom. There's a small arrow. If you click on that, there's adjust background and effects. Just remove it. Just pick none.
Background and effects. It's not on actually, background and effects.
Oh,
Adjust background. Oh, there you go.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
there you
works.
go.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Rose, for joining us.
Yeah, we know you, we know your face so well. We have heard your interviews. So
I was just listening to that last speaker. It's really tragic to hear that. I've had quite a few messages today from colleagues at NASA telling me the same thing about their children going hungry, and they're not sure how much longer they can keep going. It's a really distressing thing to hear, and I'm and annoyed that we can't do more quickly. But we are still trying. I think there's quite a few people that are still listening to us. I've been interviewed, which is why I was late coming, by CBS, and talked again about trying to dismantle the GHF. I think it's a tangible cause, and it's probably the best way that the doctors in the UK think that they can move things along is to request for the GHF to be banned. They've shown a consistent track record of deaths at the AIDS centre. I think they're averaging over 27 separate incidents now since the 27th of May. They've killed over 800 people. And they've injured 5,600 now. So it's a real tangible cause to get behind. They do not have any experience of delivering aid in a war zone, or in fact in any humanitarian situation. And the aid that they're delivering is insufficient. It's militarized. It's a surveillance method. It's completely unconscionable. They are American Israelis. They are partisan. And they need to be stopped. And it has nothing to do with the politics of Israel and Gaza. It's this company have shown that they cannot do this job, and any business of this kind should be shut down. And that's what we're trying to drive for in the UK at the moment. So we hopefully have a meeting with our foreign minister in 2 weeks' time to discuss the situation further. But I know that lots of my colleagues have been doing interviews about trying to stop the GHF and continuing.
thank you so much. We are trying from our end as well. We were in Washington, D.C. last week on Wednesday, and all we talked about was the GHF, the starvation, letting the aid in. We actually had 26 appointments. Sometimes we wish we did not have jobs and that we just able to go there and just not let go of these people who actually hold the keys to ending the suffering of somebody like Iman. It is so unfair and it's so unjust that we as medical doctors have to do this, while these politicians just signed on sending another $500 million of weapons to Israel and not pressing to allow aid in. It is just mind-boggling. I cannot believe that this is the time that we live in. It's completely atrocious. We do have Iman is with us because she's part of the disability justice and the disability group in Gaza. Iman, are you still with us? Iman Muniye.
Iman, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here. Yes, I'm
Iman,
still
can you
here.
tell us more about yourself, who you are,
Your
please?
work, yes, in the disability groups,
Yes,
please.
yes. I'm Iman Munir from Gaza Strip. I was displaced to the south in the war, in the genocide, and I was displaced multiple times, and I experienced the tents in Khan Yunis, and I returned back to Gaza in the after being after a better experience in the tents in Gaza. Here I live with my family. Also, I have two sisters like me. They are totally blind. I was before the war. I was an English language teacher, and I depended on myself before the war, but before the genocide. But now everything changed. Also, streets have no marks, have no uh, manifestations. Everything made me depend on my family, especially in errands, also in cooking, because we use wood fire. We don't use cookers. Also in laundry, we used to depend on electricity, and now we wash. My mother washes by hand. I want to also to seize this chance to tell you that most of people with disability who are at schools really now literally are stopped learning because they lost their adaptive devices, and there is no way to make them learn, even if gathering them in a tent, because if you want to gather children together, sometimes you are the place is bombed and you are the responsible. Here the situation of people with disability is very, very frustrating, because people with disability used to depend on aids from Ministry of Development here in Palestine, and these aids stopped, and they have no aids, and most of them are responsible for families. And here I can't describe you the situation in Gaza. Some children, some of my pupils lost their mobiles, and they can't use other mobiles for people who are who are visual or who can see, because there is no special programs or applications for them. So sometimes they are displaced at schools, and this makes them trapped and makes them somehow isolated from the outside world. I can't describe the catastrophe of people with disability. They are trapped at homes, and sometimes because they need their families. Not all families understand, and they are busy and they need their families. They sometimes feel that they are killed because they need people, because they don't know how to depend on themselves, how they find their colleagues and rivals and partners in Gaza learning online, and they, with all ambitions and energy and intellectuality and knowledge, they can't do anything to learn in Gaza. The situation is very, very complicated, more than you expect. Every day there is displacement. Today in Deir al-Balah, there's a wide scale of displacement. Some of the displaced people are people with disability living in a camp, in some tents. They don't know when now where to go.
Iman, I know it's the horror that the people in Gaza have been going through in the last 2 years is unimaginable, even for regular people. Being under constant bombing, being forced to leave your house bombed, and multiple forced displacement from one place to another. This is unimaginable. No human being should go through this. But I cannot even imagine how people with disability, you said you and both of your sisters are blind, or people who are deaf, or people who have all kinds of disabilities, how much harder is it for you? Because just having to be displaced from one place to another every time, and having to go through places that you are not aware of. Are no roads, there are no directions, there is no help, there is no organizations to help you. Even if a soldier, like if a soldier is a few hundred yards away from you and give you a warning, you will not be able to see them. You will not even be able to know that someone is asking you to move this way or that way. So they might shoot you because you basically you just don't see them. For the deaf people, I know they say they s- they send warning sounds or bombs or something for people to move. So if you are deaf, you basically don't hear those warning things, and you get murdered just because you are disabled. You do not hear any warning. So for blind people, for deaf people, for people who have amputations, for people who cannot walk, they cannot run, they cannot move in terrains that they are not familiar with. If you just give us a little bit insight on how much harder. I mean, it's hard on every human being. None of us can go through this,
Yes,
even
yes, I
without
understand.
any
Yes.
disability. But I'm sure it's just beyond imaginable for you. Please speak a few minutes about this.
Here, I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, multiple hundreds of times that I have a very nice family that always makes all efforts to make us comfortable. My family, when we were displaced to the south, made every effort possible to rent house. In the beginning, they refused to let us live in tents because they want us to move easily and do everything by ourselves. I was very, very lucky by my family. And then when we were displaced in tents, it was a last solution because the house beside us or next to us was bombed, and the house, and we were very, very scared. My mother chose finally that we should move to tents. But when we moved, my sister, Dr. Shaima, chose a very large space of land. We bought two tents, and there's a space, there's a surrounding fence around the tents, and we have a special toilet. These are the efforts of my family to make us comfortable. But not all families can do this or uh, understand how much is this important for people with disability. This makes me struggle better and maybe be more feel more comfortable because my family helps me a lot, and my sister Shaima and her daughters and her son. We don't maybe they don't let us need anything.
Thank you, man. I cannot imagine anyone in Gaza saying we are lucky. I know, but I appreciate. Thank God that you do have a supportive family, and so far they have been able to help somehow. But again, thank you for being here. I think we are planning to have to sound the sirens at 2 p.m. It's about 5 minutes from now. So for everyone to be ready, we're gonna sound the sirens for the whole complicit world to hear our voices. We also encourage all the panelists to have pots and spoons, and we need to do the pots, empty pots and spoons, like the people in Gaza doing, trying to amplify their voice to the world, because we live in the West. This is a call to the mainstream media in the United States, the CNN, the ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News. This is on your hand. Mainstream media, you did not just ignore the genocide, you enabled it, you justified it, you continue to justify it by taking the Israeli line. Oh, it's all Hamas. Oh, it's all self-defense. Oh, it's this and that. So mainstream media, the mass starvation of the people in Gaza is not just a genocide ignored. It's a genocide justified, enabled, and made possible by you. I know there are great groups in the US and in the West trying to sound the alarm, but the main public is not aware of this genocide. They don't know the extent of the devastation happening in Gaza. You know why? Because the mainstream media is hiding the truth. So mainstream media, it's not, I mean, this is genocide is on your hand. Doctors Against Genocide, this group, that group, we're trying our best to raise the awareness, but we don't have the reach that you do have to the main public. And I know if the American people, the Western people knew the truth, your listeners, the millions of people listen to you, knew the truth about this, they will make sure to stop it. So this is on your hands, mainstream media. And again, remember, Israel and the United States are not committing a genocide only. They are committed to a genocide. They are committed to a genocide. This is a call to the whole world. Israel is committed to continue the genocide, and the United States is playing along. And we know that no genocide in history ever stopped on its own. It has to be stopped by force. We are calling on the Hague groups. We are calling on the regional powers, the United Nations, every group in the world. You need to break this siege by force. You need to send protective forces to guard the aid and make sure the aid goes into the people who need it. You need to protect the victims from the aggressors, whether they're Israelis or Americans or mercenaries from anywhere else in the world. Israel and the United States are committing a genocide and are committed to a genocide. We know their plans. That's why they keep dragging this, because their final plan for the Palestinians that they're doing now is going to get worse in the next few months if the world does not stop them by crippling sanctions, by economic sanctions, by all kind of sanctions, by sending troops. So this is on you, the mainstream media. This is on you, the United States government, the American people, as a journalist highlighted yesterday. Most of them do not know the whole extent of what's happening. It's been done in their name, but they are not in the know. It's because the mainstream media is not showing this. That's why, please, anyone who can amplify our voice, the voice of the groups, the people of good conscience, whether in the United States or anywhere else in the world, please spread the word to the mainstream media, to the general public to act. And now, let's get ready. I think 1 minute we'll do the sirens, then get your pots ready. Karama?
Yes, I also want to get our members who are in the audience up.
Please turn on your camera.
Yeah, we need Tamer up. Mary Beth is here. Anyone who is a member of DAG and wants to be up to bank pots, please raise your hands on the audience so we can bring you up.
And
Mesa, there are like 5 people who want to be up.
Okay, come on over, Sebastian. Turn it off. Turn it off so you can hear this, okay?
Danny is also.
She's up. Danny's up. I already.
Yeah. Okay. Mary, Kathy.
Can you
Yeah,
see?
a lot of people want to be up. Jack is also wants to be up.
I don't know if I can see video.
Yeah, let's bring everyone up and then do the sirens. All the people with the hands up, please bring them.
we can play the sirens while you're bringing up everyone.
Yeah.
Then we'll do the pots after, please.
Can they see us?
I have
don't know.
to, I have to do this first. Sorry, I can't do it.
Okay, no, it's okay. That's fine. Take your time.
It's just because I'm playing the sirens.
Thank you, Maisa.
Okay, there's so many hands.
Yeah, that's good.
That's great to
because
see.
we need as many people as we can.
You don't have to.
الفيديو
هلا
نطبل؟
شوي لسه.
تامر كيف حالك؟
تمام شو اخباركم؟
Good. We missed you last time.
I know, yeah, I couldn't make it, yeah, unfortunately.
كم عمره ابنك هذا الصغير اللي معك؟
4 سنين.
4 سنين. How about the 8-month-old? Who's taking care of the other one?
Oh, his mom's taking care of him.
Okay, so you got the easy chore today.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay, I think that's everyone.
Are they all panelists now?
They're all allowed to speak.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You can
And
all-
with camera?
Yes, please, everyone turn your camera on, and I'm gonna play the sirens for 15 seconds, and then we're gonna ask everyone to join us with their pots, pans, whatever.
Can we
sound
do the sirens? Can we do the sirens for 30 seconds, please? 30 seconds, Mason.
Mesa, when you are done with the sirens, stop sharing the screen, obviously, so we can see each other.
30 seconds, please.
Okay, all right.
Yes, Don.
We should unmute.
Please, everyone unmute, and if you can
We
turn
did not hear the sirens. Yeah.
We did not hear the sirens. Not go through, Mason.
Okay.
Are you two okay?
1 second. Sorry about that.
Okay, everyone. Hungry pots, empty pots for the people of Gaza.
We're just gonna go.
Unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself and get your pots.
Ready, guys?
Take out.
Why mine won't do?
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. This crime that's been committed in our names, with our money, with our taxes, must stop now. This is unacceptable. This is criminal. This is inhumane. This is cruel. It must stop now. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Go ahead, Karam.
Okay.
I'll give it to Mesa to introduce our next section.
Yes, just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna change the view. Thank you, everyone, for participating. We will be sharing an action at the end of the webinar, so please stick around until the end so that we can brainstorm and then plan an action coming up. So today we are joined as well by members of the Disability Divest, a collective of disabled organizations advocating for free Palestine and calling on U.S. disability organizations to end their ties to war profiteers and their silence in the face of genocide. Speakers include Say Hayes, an organizer with experience in disability justice and Palestinian liberation, Sarah Balhovet, a long-time disability advocate focused on civic engagement and international human rights. They will discuss the urgent need for the disability rights community to uphold its values by ending complicity in war and violence. Shada Abu Sroor, if you're here, I would love to invite you also to moderate this session. Thank you so much.
For having us. Sarah, do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Bohovic. My pronouns are she, her. I am joining from Virginia, unceded Piscataway territory. And I have been a longtime activist and advocate in the disability movement. I have been working in this space for a decade, including with some of the organizations that we are going to be talking about in the upcoming presentation. And I'm joined by C. Heist, who is also here. See.
Hello. Hi.
Okay. So to give some background, I guess I will start. So Disability Divest formed about a year ago. We are a collective of disabled activists and people who have worked within the disability rights movement, within disability justice, and we will talk about the difference between those, who were very troubled by seeing the silence of the U.S. disability establishment on this genocide that is a mass disabling crisis, where we're seeing millions of people in Gaza who are now subjected not only to famine and injuries, but also to psychological trauma that will result in long-term disability. So to give a little background to start, I do want to talk about the difference between disability rights and disability justice, because that is really important to what we are talking about today. The disability rights movement in the United States started in the 20th century. Well, there was work before that as well, but when we talk about kind of the modern disability rights movement, a lot of that centers on getting U.S. disability rights enshrined into law. There's talk about protests that happened in the 70s to get the Rehabilitation Act passed, and where there was a long-standing occupation of a federal building, work to get the Americans with Disabilities Act passed in the 90s. And a lot of this, again, has been through, the U.S. legal framework trying to get disability rights enshrined into law. And a lot of this has transformed into, there are many disability rights organizations in the United States that work on various aspects of policy. They work on trying to get more disability rights into law, getting disability inclusion in business spaces, but it's really working within the system. So Disability Pride Month is July. And the reason for that is because it is the anniversary of the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act, which was on July 26, 1990. So we have that anniversary coming up next week. And there's a lot of talk every July about disability inclusion and disability pride. But there's a lot of challenges with the fact that it means it really is focused on certain people, white, Western, wealthy, a lot of times, and really focused on the US. So we also want to share about disability justice, and I will hand that over to C.
Thank you, Sarah. So disability justice is a framework where we advocate not only for the liberation of disabled people, but the liberation for all people. We have something we go by the 10 principles of disability justice, and I'm just going to go ahead and go over those very quickly. So number one is intersectionality, and that means we do not live single issue lives. So we care about all marginalized people everywhere. Number two is leadership of the most impacted. So like Sarah said, we are trying to step away from this white, wealthy, Western led and centered movement. We care about anti-capitalist politics and cross-movement solidarity, which means we are going to support people advocating for a free Palestine, for Black liberation, for border justice. We recognize the wholeness of all people, regardless of where they live. We care about sustainability. We care about commitment to cross-disability solidarity. So like Sarah said, caring about physical disabilities as well as psychological ones. We know that we are interdependent upon each other and that we cannot exist without each other. And we believe similarly that everybody should have collective access to the same things: food, water, shelter, healthcare, and most importantly, we believe in a collective liberation. So obviously, there are very glaring connections between the disability justice movement and Palestine. In fact, I would argue that the movement for a free Palestine is the disability justice movement, and that we owe ourselves as disability organizers to disability advocates in Palestine and to Palestinian advocates as a whole. And for that reason, Sarah and my other colleagues are all very distraught to see a push towards this kind of capitalist, white, wealthy, disabled rights movement that does not care about people and their Palestinian people or poor people or people who are marginalized, and instead is looking for a slot at the table among white supremacists, among imperialists, among colonizers. And one of the big things that happened this month, and one of the things that we work on the most, is criticizing Disability In's guide that they release every year. So I'm going to go ahead and pass that off to Sarah, where she can talk about how Disability In and war profiteers are being directly complicit in genocide in the name of supporting disabled people, and what we're doing to try and stop that.
Yes. And one thing I also want to mention is the creators of the disability justice framework actually in 2014 came out with a statement that said Palestine is a disability justice issue. So the actual creators of this, and I think that's really important because sometimes in talking about these, I'll see disability rights and disability justice. Some people will kind of act like disability justice is just a newer term for it, but they're really different frameworks. So Disability In was formerly known as the U.S. Business Leadership Network. They are an organization, nonprofit organization in the United States and international as well, that works with businesses on the basis of arguing for disability inclusion. And what they have done for several years now is they released something that called the Disability Index. Prior to this year, it was called the Disability Equality Index. It is a benchmarking tool for businesses to look at how allegedly how inclusive they are of disability. This is done, these questionnaires are filled out by the businesses themselves. They are not filled out by employees with disabilities to talk about their experience working for these major corporations. And what they have done is they assign scores based on this questionnaire to talk about how inclusive these businesses are of disability. This year, they did not make the scores public. This might be because last year we started our actions around calling out the many problems with this index. And another big portion of this is that they have a yearly conference. Last year, that conference, the headlining sponsor was Boeing. What we have talked about this year is exactly how many corporations, including weapons manufacturers, are sponsors of this conference. This year alone, they brought in $9.3 million in conference sponsorships from a number of organizations. And so we really wanted to talk about the connection between this funding and the silence of the disability community, and the disability establishment. So this year, in terms of some of the really significant sponsorships, Wells Fargo, it was with their one of their headlining sponsors gave $175,000. Wells Fargo supports Israel.
Sarah, 1 minute, please. Those who are unmuted, please. Mr. Lee, Mr. Ali, Hala, please mute yourself because we are hearing the noise. We want the speaker to speak. Mr. Lee, Julie, Ali. yourself.
Also, Nidal, I just want to say أهلا وسهلا دكتور أحمد الفرة. I see him, he's back with us. دكتور الفرة بس أعطينا شوية a little bit of time until our panelists are done and then we talk to you.
Okay, my friend.
Thank you so much. You're muted, Nidal.
أهلا وسهلا Dr. Ahmed. You bring the smile to our hearts whenever we see you. You're our ambassador. So thank you for
حبيبي
coming.
الله يحفظك يا رب. الله
Give us a
يبارك
few more minutes, please. Thank you. أهلا وسهلا.
Most welcome, my friend.
Maisa, can you mute Mr. Lee, please? It seems he's not here.
Yes, I'm just going through the names. So I'm gonna mute everyone.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so Wells Fargo, which was part of a loan consortium for Elbit Systems, and we also want to recognize the interconnectedness of many other issues. So Wells Fargo has funded resource extraction projects in the United States, including the Dakota Access Pipeline, and Cop City in Atlanta, which also has ties to Israel in that U.S. cops are sent to Israel to train in, tactics that the IDF and the Israeli police use. See, do you want to continue with some of the other sponsors of the conference? We might not have time to go over all of them, but.
Yeah, I'm not going to go over every single one, but we're also looking at a lot of tech. So Amazon, Microsoft, and as we know, these companies both are pretty complicit in the genocide, specifically Microsoft in its use of AI that they give to the Israeli government for their military actions. And then another one is Lockheed Martin. And Lockheed Martin is just a weapons manufacturer. That is what they do. They design bombs. They're very good at designing bombs that kill lots of people, and that is their goal. And so when we have organizations like Boeing, when we have organizations like Lockheed Martin on the list, then that is just a slap in the face to the principles of disability justice. And also it is an organization that is not interested in the collective liberation of disabled people.
Yeah. And so I'll say that, there are many on here. Teva Pharmaceuticals, an Israeli pharmaceutical company, RTX, formerly Raytheon, Intel. There are many BDS targets as well as weapons manufacturers. And we understand there are some challenges and some complexities in the disability rights movement. I would say Microsoft is one of the largest funders of disability C3 organizations, including ones who have spoken out about Palestine. There aren't many organizations that have, but there are a few. And Microsoft, because they work on accessible technology, is a large sponsor and funder of different disability organizations. But that does not mean that we stay silent on this. And I think that one of the challenges with all of this funding is that you do see this silence and complicity because they don't want to jeopardize their funding sources, especially for an organization like this, where they're getting nearly $10 million in sponsorships. And it's not limited to Disability In. There are other disability organizations that accept money from weapons manufacturers and BDS targets. There's a large conference next week happening with the National Council on Independent Living that is funded. One of their sponsors is Airbnb. Airbnb lists properties in illegal settlements on Palestinian land for vacations. So it's not limited to one organization, but our call to action for all this is, first thing, we need to stop being silent. The disability establishment has been, for the most part, silent on what has been happening in Palestine and the genocide of our Palestinian peers. And it's something that last year, I think a lot of it was also rooted in not wanting to jeopardize the chances of the Biden and Harris, who are friendlier to disability issues, disability legislation than the Trump administration, which has been fairly hostile. So there was also silence on that part, where we saw disability leaders going to the ADA celebration at the White House. And I think one of the bare minimum asks is don't go celebrate with the president who has been aiding and abetting and really leading this genocide for for many months. By that point, it was in September of 2024. So there was almost a year since this had started. At the bare minimum, do not accept money from weapons contractors and military contractors. You shouldn't be accepting money or trying to really get more disabled people to be working with the likes of Lockheed Martin. And also analyze how these issues are connected, because these companies as well are, some of the ones that we have listed are creating and taking contracts with ICE for helping with the detention facilities, where we're seeing people unjustly taken away from their families, including pro-Palestinian and Palestinian folks who have spoken out about this genocide. But you know, we need to. There has been a collective failure of the U.S. disability establishment to have any integrity on this issue and to speak out against one of the largest mass disabling events that we have seen in our lifetime. C, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch a little bit more also on the DHS/ICE element of what's going on here. So we talk about how disabilities are impacting Palestine and how we deal with that. ICE is a huge proponent of Israeli, the push for imperialism, and in that Israeli genocide as well. We've seen across the nation people being detained illegally, unjustly, inhumanely for their activism in Palestine. Obviously, the most famous among them is Mahmoud Khalil, but there have been many, many others, including many students who lost their visas due to pro-Palestine posts on their Instagrams or pro-Palestine actions or opinions. And we also want to acknowledge that ICE is a very disabling force. It's like a military force that comes in and disappears people and holds them hostage. Denies them medical care, obviously, brutalizes them, obviously. And there are large, far-reaching impacts of this as well. Like, for example, in the state that I'm in, so I'm on Tongava land in California. The Democratic progressive governor in our state, Gavin Newsom, has been talking about taking away Medicaid and Medi-Cal funding for undocumented immigrants and people being targeted who would be seen as undocumented by ICE, which would be directly taking away and disabling Palestinian activists and undocumented immigrants and documented immigrants, and to be honest, anyone ICE decides they want to terrorize that day. So I do want to acknowledge that, yes, we have this massive mass disappearing of people, mass kidnapping of people happening across the US, especially in the West. And we also we know that this is impacting Palestinian activists, Palestinians, Muslims who are immigrants in our country or who ICE decides is an immigrant that day. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that.
Yes. So thank you all for your time and for also sharing your testimonies today. It has reaffirmed our commitment to this, I think, and just hearing what is going on. We continue to call on organizations like Disability In, like the American Association of People with Disabilities, National Council on Independent Living, to speak up on this issue. It's not too late to take what actions they can to cut ties with any harmful and complicit companies, particularly, again, starting with those weapons manufacturers and those who are directly causing this famine, this destruction and mass disablement in Palestine. You can learn more about what we do at disabilitydivest.org. We're very active on our Instagram, where we share all of this information. And again, thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you both so much. Please join Doctors Against Genocide and stay with us. Come back to our webinar. It's your work is super, super important, and you have summarized very important connections that we all need to pay attention to. And your sense of justice is admirable. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are in full support and solidarity, and let's work and collaborate together. United, we win. Divided, they win. So thank you for coming again, and thank you for what you shared. It's very educational, and it helps us be more aware of what's happening beyond just the service of these crimes. So thank you both. Karama, your friend is here. You introduce him.
My friend Dr. Farra.
He's everybody's friend.
السلام عليكم.
منور دكتور فرا.
كيف حالكم؟ لا النور للوايت كوت، الوايت كوت عامل شغل جبار. كيف؟
الله يخليك الله يخليك، تسلم والله. احنا كل مره بنشوفك انت يعني give us some peace of mind at least
حبيبي.
we hear your voice. So تفضل دكتور أحمد. What do you have to share with us today? I know unfortunately every week things are getting worse and we feel for
I
you.
heard from
Thank you for
Muhammad
coming up.
that our colleague from north of Gaza talked since nearly 30 minutes ago about the situation. In a brief, we don't to add more details and more information. We will talk about the Nasser Medical Complex today. Nasser Medical Complex today, we have 50 cases in the reception room are staying there. We didn't found any place for them in the department. Actually, Nasser Medical Complex is suffering a lot from the from the trapping centers, which name is GHF, and actually it's not GHF, it is a trapping center or killing centers. Nowadays we see a lot of injuries by some bullets that are explosive and bombed inside the body. So they are using something new. We not see it before in that centers. Again, we still suffering from meningitis. We still suffering from Guillain-Barré. I shared with my professor, Dr. Karama, some of cases about Guillain-Barré syndrome. Again, we are suffering about lack of intravenous immunoglobulin. Last case, the patient here came in the intensive care unit. He's in the mechanical ventilation due to lack of intravenous immunoglobulin. Even the filters for plasmapheresis is lost. We tried to contact Jordanian hospital. We tried to contact WHO. Every patient in our hospital is a story. One suffering from lack of IVIG, one suffering of lack of filters for plasmapheresis, one is suffering for lack of cholesterol as antibiotic sensitive for his culture and sensitivity. Other patient is suffering from lack of external fixation for his fracture. All the hospital is suffering. What's updating today that there is a new orders from the occupational forces about evacuation of a new line between Deir el-Balah and between Khan Yunis. If this happened, this will be a very dangerous and a very serious because they will divide Gaza into four squares. I think this is what they are thinking and planning for evacuation Palestinian from Gaza Strip. They are looking for, I think they are looking for to push Khan Yunis city in the new camp that they will look for in Rafah, and then to try to evacuate for one of the countries that they suggest, Indonesia and Libya and Ethiopia. and they think also about pushing the civilian from citizens from Gaza to Deir al-Balah and again to Khan Yunis. But we hope and we are fully convinced about our Quran. وَيَمْكُرُونَ يَمْكُرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. This is our God, and we think that nothing will happen until he's willing. Again, also we have a serious situation about the nutrition. We talk about that too much before. We talk to the media, to webinar, to Zoom, to TVs. And unfortunately, we got the critical point that we were expecting to catch this point or this critical point. Actually, I can see by my naked eyes some bodies in the street. They are exhausted. They are malnourished. Some of them they are falling down. Maybe you saw the old man on the shareable food who were waiting for something to get, and unfortunately, after he's standing for a long time, he was arrested and died. The malnutrition today, for example, we got some samples of milk. It is ready milk, like some glasses, plastic cans. Nearly each can have nearly 120 milliliter, that equal one meal for the baby. The amount that is available for everyone is just 6 bottles. That mean is an average of 1 day consumption of this baby. We solved the problem for 24 hours. What next? So again, we are in a circle of suffering. But again, we are, I think we are, inshallah, we will fight. We will not be feeling about unable. No. We are doing what we can do. We are doing our best. We will never be unable or feeling disabled about to continue. We will continue caring about our patient. We will continue care about our duties in the hospitals, caring about everything, and caring about our families also. The lack of food in the nowadays is very serious. Actually, all the people are starved, really starved. They are feeling about vitamin deficiencies. I saw a lot of people. We are while we're going to the hospital, when they are getting in the bus, they feeling some ataxic. I asked a lot of them, "Are you feeling that your balance is unwell?" He told me, "Yes, I need vitamins. I think I have B complex deficiency." My friends, really, since 3 or 4 months ago, we didn't eat vegetables, we didn't eat fruits. We just, the main dish is rice. If it was more valuable, we add something to rice, like aubergine, to do something is different. But fava beans in sometimes, chickpeas if it was available. This is very valuable food that we can get nowadays. No olive oil, no vegetables, no fruit, no fish, no meat, no chicken. We sometimes we feel something to enjoy ourselves, to open videos for shawarma and some YouTube or some kitchen that making food, because we want to still remember what they are doing in these kitchens. So and nothing, no words, no sentence, no letters can talk about Gaza nowadays. Gaza is suffering too much, and unfortunately, Arabs and Muslims near Gaza equal nothing, equal zero. My friends, I will talk frankly. The one category of the Syrian people, we call them Druze. You know about them. They are in the south of Syria. They shout just by telling something, and everyone from that category in Palestine, in Lebanon, they talk and they move quickly, and they try to support their brothers. I think that we have something in our Islam, in our Arab, in our I don't know what is the bond that connecting Muslims with each other or Arabs with each other. It's false bonds. It's false bonds. Actually, we facing a lot of sympathy and a lot of hard feeling from European and America, from people who are not Palestinian. And this is a big shame for Muslims and for Arabs. My friend, there is now, while I'm sitting here, nearly 7,000 trucks are in Rafah city. I think the general there can order them to get inside. No one will blame him. No one. In this time, I remember President Morsi, who was in Egypt in 2012, and something happened for Gaza. He sent his prime minister to Gaza, and it was a big challenging for the occupational force and the occupational states and for the government of Israel. And they were obligated to stop that war, if you remember, in 2012. I think we will be in the judgment day in front of these people, and we will ask them about not helping their family and their brothers and their sisters in Gaza. This is a big shame for them, and God will ask them about that. We are feeling what you can expect. My phone, someone calling me from United Kingdom, from America, from Italy. They asking what we can offer, what we can do. They want to come with to be volunteer here. They ask us how we can get inside, how you can hear that from the Western countries and from United Kingdom and from America, and all the Arabs are busy about the big mansaf and the big pizza, and about something not related to humanity and to the right of the Palestinian people. This is the situation in brief. Sorry for being too late. Actually, I was in looking for some flour for the family, but unfortunately I couldn't catch anything from it. I hope that tomorrow we can catch.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Dr. Nadal. Thank you,
Not
Dr.
apologize.
Karama. We still we will still and we will stay, and we are stronger and stronger. Nothing will break us. I swear to God, nothing will break us, because we are believing in this. This is the kingdom of God, and He what He want, He it will be. Inshallah, yamkuruna yamkurullah, wallahu khairul makirin. Thank you, my friends.
Nothing will break you because you're only fighting for your right to life, right to justice, right to be in your home, so, and right to exist. And yes, the Arabs and the Muslims are useless. I agree with you, because there are 2 billion Arabs and Muslims surrounding Gaza. The trucks are there, and they can force it in if they can. And as we said last week, you, the people of Gaza, have exposed the world. The whole world is broken, and it has been now divided into people who care and people who do not care. And unfortunately, there is a lot of people who do not care, especially among the Arabs and Muslims and the Arab countries, the regimes that surrounding you. And there are a lot of people who care in the West, people of good conscience. Unfortunately, their governments are as bad or even worse than the Arab governments, but the people themselves are good people, and they're trying to help. What broke me is when you said there is no olive oil in Palestine, in a place that usually exports olive oil to the whole world, and you could not get bread or flour to your family tonight. So that's really too hard. Is Muhammad still there? I'm sorry, is Muhammad still there? I don't want the day to go by. I want to apologize to him. We did not get him earlier, but if he's still there, we want to hear his voice too, please. Go ahead.
Nadil Muhammad Wallah. Dr. Nidal, I want to tell you and for everyone, I have a villa in Qarara city. I have nearly 10 olive trees, and they were giving me nearly 100 kilo of olive oil. But the Zionists destroyed all of it, and they pumping my house and my villa and everything about our dreams was bombing there. Dr. Nidal want to talk with you. So again, but we inshallah we will go back to olive trees in Yafa and Haifa and in Yatta and Al Khalil inshallah. This is Muhammad.
inshallah. أهلين محمد كيفك؟
اهلا حياك الله دكتور.
أنا آسف we did not call on you earlier because of the schedule, but yes, the day will not go by without hearing from you. تفضل, share whatever you have, please, Muhammad.
ولا يهمك يعني بارك الله فيك. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody here, and special thanks to Iman. Actually, she described everything she could ever do, because I mean she spoke about everything in Gaza, the markets, or the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation also, and the genocide there. She has already told us about everything, but yes, it's true. The the starvation, the famine is true. The people are still dying from the malnutrition, and we are experiencing more than I mean, like, we are seeing every day that people are still dying from the starvation, and that's true. And when it comes to the markets, you can see the lack of the food and the supplies. You can go to the market and come back with nothing, literally with nothing, you know. You can find flour or you can find vegetables. You know, whenever you want to stand up, you feel like your head is just shaking and the headache, and you just want to fall apart, you know. So it's always hard. I mean, things haven't been harder than this time. Actually, it's getting more complicated over days, and we can see and we can witness the real starvation now. you feel that you're lazy all the time and you're sleepy, and that's normal because you have no vitamins, you have no protein, you have literally nothing, okay? And we can still hear the bombings. I mean, you can hear it.
the bombing now on Deir al-Balah.
Yeah, that's true. And now they are trying to divide or split the two places, which is Khan Yunis and Deir al-Balah. So it will end up with us having 5 pieces from the strip, which is Rafah, then Khan Yunis, then Deir al-Balah, then Gaza, then northern of Gaza. So this reoccupation now is working on something is going to be so hard. I mean, the next few days. And as I told you before, things are just getting more complicated over days. And yeah, the fees, it's so real. Like when you need to get money out of your bank account, you need to pay the 50% of that money. So 2 days ago, I went to someone who can give us cash money. I paid him 360 shekels. I transferred the money to his bank account. He gave me 200 shekels in cash. Can you imagine it? And then we went to the market trying to look for some food to feed the children and our families, and we couldn't find anything. So it's just hard reality, and we are still watching I mean, we need to keep this rolling. We need to tell about our suffering all the time. I mean, of course, I know that you all guys know our suffering, our endless suffering, and you are all speechless. We are all speechless, but we need to keep this rolling. We need to show and to still say and speak up about Palestine and what's going on the Gaza Strip, because that's so it's so hard and so complicated. You know, we are still losing weight. I was 115 kilograms, and now I'm around 70. So we are losing our mental health, we are losing our health, we are losing our bodies, we're losing everything. It's getting more complicated over
But
days.
it is good to lose weight, Dr. Nidal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was overweight. His body mass index was over. So now he's slim. It's better for him.
I know, but again, it's good to lose weight voluntarily or based on your own choice, not when you are forced to lose weight because there's a criminal army and a criminal country, a criminal nation committing genocide and mass starvation on you. As a human being, we have the right to choose. We can choose to be obese, we can choose to be thin, we can choose to be healthy, we can choose to be disciplined. Everyone should have the right to do whatever they want, and no one has the right to impose on us what we need to do. So yes, thank you, Muhammad.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed.
Nidal, maybe we can talk about what we want to do while Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra with us, because he can give us feedback.
Yes, can we just go to special guest Abraham and Dawn Matheson first? Abraham is our special guest. Then once we finish with Abraham and Dawn, then we can go around with brainstorming of actions that we can do. Dawn, Abraham, all yours.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Abe is here with me, Abraham. This is my brother who I care for. We have been, advocating for disability justice for our entire lives. I think just to what we've been hearing today, every injury in Gaza is more likely to become a lifetime disability with the destruction of the healthcare system. The disabling effects of starvation, as have been said, like immunodeficiency, organ damage, cognitive impairment, these are all ongoing, long-term disabling effects. So this is all piled on top of the mental health catastrophe, the continuous traumatic stress living through this genocide, the mass amputations in response to the bombings and shootings by the criminal Zionist army and the criminal government of the United States. Mass disabling is used to control people, make them dependent on these murderous states and violent institutions. It's used to slowly kill people or to kill them en masse at the whim of violent colonial, imperial, warmongering profiteers. As we've heard, it's even more difficult for our disabled comrades and their families. Some disabled people and their caregivers are being forced to make impossible choices, like was said last week, like how do I, if I'm a single parent with a disabled child, how do I leave them to not bring them to someplace even more dangerous like the GHF to go find food? people are just forced to make the most impossible choices. And Abe and I just the complications of just living as a disabled person, as a disabled family, and then thinking about that compounded a million times in Gaza, what people are living through. It's so distressing. Yeah, and we continue to advocate and we continue to push our disability. Anybody. We went to the Disability Pride event by Disability Rights Maine this past weekend and talked to everybody we could about our upcoming action about disability justice, that these are all connected. Disability justice is a connecting point for so many things, and Gaza, at the core, that the disability justice is free Palestine. Anything else?
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Abe. Thank you, Dawn, for all what you're doing to help Abe. What a great sister. We're honored to have you, and we need more people in the world like you. Again, Karama, go ahead if you want to open the floor for reflections, for brainstorming actions, please.
Yes, so while we have Dr. El-Farra with us, we are aware of the call from Gaza to bang pots at 1 p.m. in Gaza time, I think today and tomorrow. We want to do something that is focused on the starvation in Gaza and how people are actually dying from hunger right now by putting together press conferences in front of the hospitals, in front of the clinics, in front of churches, in front of mosques, in front of supermarkets. My neighbors just had an action today by the biggest supermarket in Newton, and they were there with, holding a walkout for Gaza. So it feels like, we have to escalate. We tried this many, many times, believe me, Dr. El-Farra. We tried to do press conference, we tried to do visuals, we did everything that we can do, but it sounds like, this genocide and these genocidal people are super committed, like Nidal said, to genocide. And what we can is to continue to expose them, continue to speak up, and continue to talk about what is happening in Gaza. We have so much information, and we need the whole world to know how complicit they are, and we need the whole world to demand an end to this. So we will share with our members, and we have several people from Healthcare Workers for Palestine, Pediatrician for Palestine here with us that can actually help us elevate this. And they are all enthusiastic about doing something together. So we will share something that gives kind of rough idea how to do this. And we have Karan here, we have Dr. Rimawi, we have Dawn, we have many people from DAG, Jacques Azzi is here. We have a lot of people that we would love to hear from them, and hopefully we can coordinate something real quick. The most important thing is to get media. Unfortunately, we have to have media see what we're doing. So the plan is to do press releases and press conferences and in front of these places to talk about how hunger is killing people. This is no longer about not bombing. It's no longer about ceasefire. It's no longer about let aid in. It is literally people are dying from hunger because they are out of food, and there is no place for them to even get food, even if we send them millions of dollars, while the food is sitting few miles away, not allowed in. It's the cruelest episode in history that one can think of. يعني عمره الواحد بيتخيل. No one can imagine this. Let's bring people to become panelists, please.
Karen is here. Who else do you need?
Dr. Rimawi.
I think she was invited earlier.
Is she? Okay.
She's invited.
I don't see her.
She's allowed to speak. Anybody else?
Can you bring them with camera too, so we can actually see them?
Karen.
Lama.
Lama, can you turn your camera on?
Hi, you guys.
Hi.
Sorry, I actually cannot turn my camera on for some reason.
Because she's not on a panel, on the panel, she's
Oh,
only
okay, okay. Is there, sorry, I had to duck in and out.
That's okay. I invited you to be a panelist. Just accept and you can turn your camera on.
And anyone else who wants to join us, please just raise your hand so we can add you as panelists, so we can see you and talk to you.
Okay, there's other people that raised their hand. Okay, I think we have everyone who raised their hand.
Yeah, Lama, your camera is on now. Thank you, Dr. Rimao, for joining.
Of course.
Yeah, so I actually was chatting with Lama a little bit and about some media strategy, but I think what we should do is just have press releases, like maybe we can draft something that is standard, but people can personalize. We can share media contact. Media contact locally is what matters really the most. But like we did with Sick from Genocide and what we did for Not Another Child, Not Another Hospital, we need to do this, that Gaza is dying from hunger because of the commitment to genocide, really. I think, that is what it is. So if you have questions, ideas, please share. Karen?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Dr. Karama, because this is related to what you were saying. Oh, I should backtrack. My name is Karan Malik. I'm an internist and a pediatrician at Tulane University. Dr. Al-Farah, thank you for sharing your experience. We bear witness to this heartbreak. I'm just going to make it very quick because it's related to what Dr. Karama and Dr. Jabour were saying. One, I think the time to ask Gazans for what we should do is over because they didn't learn how to survive a genocide either. So I think we really should challenge each other to not do that. Two, I think by and large, the most fruitful mobilization of healthcare workers, including DAG, everybody who's involved, has been the campaigns and Not Another Child, Not Another Hospital, Sick from Genocide. If you're talking about raw numbers, that has been the highest turnout of white collar healthcare workers. And that's really who we need to channel, the people that we work with, whether it's residents, whether it's department chairs, it's the people with power. On that end, this is the worst global health catastrophe that we have witnessed. We need to challenge and call in the global health scholars at our institutions that get money to do work, this kind of work. The people who are doing work in South Africa, in Africa and South America, but they're not doing work in Gaza. We have to push them. They have grants and money to support these initiatives. So when we reach out with our press releases and these media conferences, we need to make sure that these academics are here, specifically the ones that do global health work. I think that's an area that we have not successfully tapped into. We have to apply pressure in all of our lanes. And I still think that we have not done a great job of talking about Gaza at our work. I think we need to reach critical mass sooner. And I think since we convened NACNA and Sick from Genocide, we have not been honest and we have not turned inwards at our residency programs, at our departments that we run, that we're integral members of, and make sure that we are challenging every single person that we come into contact with every single day. And finally, please join us at the People's Conference, whether in person or via web. I believe Dr. Karama and Dr. Jabour are going to be speaking. The time is now. There's nothing more to say. We've been more than 2 years at this. Thank you all for this time.
Thank you, Karan. Thank you for everything and for always being available. Anyone else wants to speak? I think Jane.
No, I had my hand up to join when Mesa was putting people on, but I guess I agree with Karan, but I also think we need to do something visual and something quick. So I know that on the New York listserv, we had a chat about showing up at the Egyptian embassy tomorrow afternoon, and some of us are going to do that. if anybody's in the New York area. But I do think that, yeah, press, as you said, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say
Do,
more.
do you have a press release for that? And
one person on our Alice Sutter sent it out. I don't know which group it's with even, but there was a press release and I can put it on the general list.
Jane, if you take photos and you want us to post them and talk about them, please do.
Okay.
Can I add an idea that might be helpful?
Please, Rulama, yes.
So I think that we need to be extremely practical. We have people all over the country who have done fundraisers for different congressional candidates, senatorial candidates, local candidates, and state candidates. Some of them, or many of them, have their direct text cell numbers and ways to reach them. I think that if we can provide a succinct paragraph of exactly what is happening and what we want them to do, we should mobilize all our colleagues who've had any sort of contact with government officials, because the bottom line is the only person that's going to change anything is President Trump.
Thank you. Thank you, Lama. I want the whole world to know that Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra, our colleague who's here, he said he spent the whole night trying to look for flour for his family, could not get anything. They have no olive oils. With your permission, Dr. Ahmed, do you mind if I share the pictures of your house and your garden that was bombed? Are you okay with that? You're muted, Dr. Ahmed.
Yes, of course, please.
Yes, I want
Go ahead.
I want the whole world to know who's Dr. Ahmed, what he had, and why he doesn't have flour now. It's not because he could not provide. It was because his house, his people, his country was bombed. So these are the pictures of Dr. Ahmed's house that was bombed. This is his trees. We're gonna share more pictures of them, please. This is his backyard.
Yes, this is the dates.
Yeah, please tell us about these trees, your connection to
This
them.
is
When did you
the
build
date.
this house?
You know, I planned these dates with my son Muhib and Muhammad since nearly 20 years ago. The old of these dates is nearly 20 years. I planned it, and I have Muhib and Muhammad in the same time. As you can see, we have red one and another one is yellow one. Also, we have something on the separation wall between our house and neighbors. Its name is Flora. I don't know what is the name in America. It's something useful for anti-cancer cells. It initiates helper T cells. They give it for chemotherapy sometimes. We called it Flora. Some kind of fruits, and it to make a good separation between neighbors. I have also an apple tree. I have nearly 10 trees of olive. As you can see, it was really, I will talk frankly,
The
this
olive
villa,
tree?
yes, olive tree.
And
This
now you
villa
have no
cost,
olive oil.
yes. This villa is, we have all the dreams about it. I try to put my best to do it and try to make privacy for everyone, for my son, for my daughter. It nearly four. We have nearly four departments, but it connected with each other. Actually, it was completely destroyed by F-16 attack. After that, this is in the first. After that, we wasn't there. We evacuated all the area. After that, they are by truck destroyed all the trees, all the separation room, everything. If you, this is a view from at night. This is Al Qarara city. It is something
Do you
like a
remember?
village.
Do you remember the date your house was destroyed?
تاريخ تدمير البيت امتى؟ لا في الميلادي.
It's okay, Ramadan is fine.
شهر yes April 24.
So you spend all your life trying to build this house.
Yes,
and
it
this
took
garden.
you know I started I start to buy the land first. It's nearly 1 dunam, nearly 1,000 meter square. Then I tried to plant the trees, the olive, the lemon, the apple, the figs, and the dates. After that, we built it. It took nearly 10 years. 10 years. We are doing our best to try to do that. After that, it was just by a button on something. It was completely destroyed one night. I think they destroyed everything beautiful. I asked my neighbors, what is the cause of destroying that villa? They told me that they were choose the most beautiful houses and they try to destroy it because they want to make something for punishment for the Palestinian people. But inshallah, God will give me life expectancy to make another one and more beautiful than this one. We have, as Dr. Nidal said, we have connection with the trees. Palestinian people like too much the trees, like the dates, like the olive, like the apple, like the figs. When we plant this, we feel that our sun is there. Actually, I swear to God that I'm sad about the trees more than the building. This building is cost nearly $500,000, actually $500,000, but the trees is more valuable for me. I was very happy when something I plant lettuce, some mint, something vegetables, sometimes ملوخية, and try to get it and make food from it. I was looking for a village life, like someone who's depending on himself and try to feel separation about the crowdness and about everything. Now I am here in a tent with my family. This is the next nearly this is the 7 or 8 time to evacuate from one place to another place. But again, we will be unbroken, and we are more strong than they can expect. We will not say yes. We will say no and no and no. This is our land, and we will get back again.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Yes, for the indigenous people, trees are family.
Yes.
For the Palestinians, olives, oranges, palm trees, grapes are family. The concrete can come and go, but trees, losing them is like losing our family. Thank you for sharing this. For the sake of time, I'm sorry, it's getting too late. We're gonna go now in order to all our members to get reflections of the day, ideas for brainstorming for actions. And according to my screen, I'm gonna go in order with my screen. I have Martha Miller. Please go ahead, give us your reflections.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you for everybody being here. Thank you for the guests. And thank you, Dr. Al-Farar. You are really, you are become family for all of us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just the crisis and the urgency is just, it's heart-wrenching. And it's I just, I really feel like what can we do to help support a coalition of troops to go in? I mean, I think we've said genocide will not stop itself. That's that is, I have to find what happened on that. Weren't they gathering in Bogota to talk about that? I need to catch up on that. I just think that we need to keep it in the public. We need the media, like all that's been said already, and the standouts, the standout at the hospitals, Karama, that you were talking about. But I feel like is there anything we can do to help support a peaceful coalition of troops to go in?
I wish we can do that.
Karama and Maisa, can you please share the suggested actions? Go ahead.
So the reason why Not Another Child and these other actions worked really well is because they actually were synchronized across different locations, and there was like a time sensitivity towards them. So we put together a suggested action that will kind of mimic some of these actions, but the idea is to mobilize all the healthcare workers in the world in a unified sort of action to make it the biggest impact. So I'm just gonna share my screen. Let me know if you can see what I'm sharing. I don't see what I'm sharing, but do you see what I'm sharing?
Not yet. Not yet.
It says has started sharing, but it did not share yet.
Okay, let me just open the file. Okay. Of course, everything. Oh, interesting. It's still not sharing, right?
No.
Hmm.
Yes, it's working now. It's shared now.
Okay. So this is a global call to action for all our colleagues, healthcare workers, and allies. Actually, it's not strictly for healthcare workers, but this is an emergency call to action. We are calling everyone to gather on Monday at 12 p.m. And we wanted to, make sure that this is done, obviously, synchronized action. We're calling on all healthcare workers everywhere in the world to rise up in a unified, synchronized act of solidarity. So what we're asking people to do is to gather in front of hospitals, clinics, medical schools, offices of elected officials, supermarkets, restaurants, anywhere that serves food, anywhere that serves health. We want to use all these locations as a place to raise the awareness and to demand action. We're asking everybody to bring banners that say, "Let the children eat, stop starving Gaza, let aid in, and end the siege." So we have actually a lot of these banners on our website. People can just print them and take them with them. We also want to make noise, bring pots, pans, let the world hear what silence is costing us, costing the world and costing our friends and colleagues in Gaza. And we are also asking everyone to hold press conferences, to speak with moral clarity, speak as a medical professional, as a protector, a healer, and people of conscience. We're also asking people to record and share. So if you do a press conference or if you do a speech, please record it, share it, use these hashtags, and then share it with us, and we can amplify all these messages. So this is just one idea, but it's important that we do it all in sync with each other at the same time, and that we create a wave of action across the world for it to make an impact. Maybe reflections, feedback from the group, or any reactions to this.
Yeah. Thank you, Maisa. So let's go back to reflections, including this the suggested action, and hear from our colleagues. Again, I'll go with the screen. Next on my screen is Dania Khaled. Thank you, Dania, for being here.
Hi everyone. Reflections. Just that it's very grim and sorry, I don't have much to say. Whatever we've been doing, we need to escalate times 100 and do more. Yeah.
Thank you,
Sorry,
Dania.
I'm sorry. It's just
Okay.
yeah.
I know it's hard. It's hard on all of us. That's why we're all here, because it's better to think and speak in a group of people who are supportive. So next was Dr. Shitab, but I think she moved, so I'm gonna go to the next, Dr. Badroni. You're next on the screen. Thank
Okay.
you for being here.
Yeah, I think that the major problem that we have is the horrible circumstance that bombing hospitals is no longer news, maiming children is no longer news, starving children is no longer news. The reappearance of polio is no longer news. These have all been factored in as an acceptable new normal that is happening to some people. And I think that personally, I don't know if it should be through Doctors Against Genocide or through another entity, but and I know there are mixed opinions, but I feel like there needs to be disruptive behavior, by which I mean disrupting normal flows of traffic, of population, of airline schedules. I'm just putting various ideas out there. Nothing concrete. We have planned nothing concrete, but I'm suggesting that kind of disruption to get into American consciousness again. The horror that is happening, and that they may be even aware, they may have heard that people were shot at an aid site, but they don't understand the grinding every day and the immediacy and the urgency. I do think it would be important to do any disruption as doctors, whether it's through DAG or separate from DAG. Being, I think that doing it in doctors' white coat is significant for getting attention. And I take sole responsibility for my comments. They don't represent DAG. They're just my thoughts individually. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom. It's a very tricky line that we have to walk between, being the doctors, the medical professional committed to our patients and our duties, and being completely fed up with the systems that feed into the genocides and support it. And while we are being employed by some of these systems, it's a very, very difficult balance on daily basis for us. But I think we, as Doctors Against Genocide, we will start with press conferences, press releases. Fortunately, after 2 years of doing this, we have a little bit more of media coverage. We have better reach. We have more members. We have people who we can rely on doing this. So we will continue with our work. I also want to share that, just like Dr. Al-Farra is determined to rebuild his beautiful, beautiful villa and replant his trees and replant his olive tree and replant his family's land in Yafa. We are also determined with the people of Gaza to continue to rebuild. I would like to share with you that regarding Al-Shifa Field Hospital rebuild that we are planning with, we have already shared $100,000. That brings us much closer to our goal of $740,000. We want this to happen despite everything. And the reason why this is for us is actually a conceivable project. It is because it will be built by the engineers in Gaza themselves. They will salvage the broken hospital beds. They will salvage the concrete. They will salvage tiles for their the sections that they want them to be tiled. They will have the field hospitals made of high endurance tents. So we're not building concrete. This should be a very simple low-cost project. However, the material is extremely difficult to find in Gaza. It's very expensive, but we are committed to this because Gaza wants to rebuild, and we want to help them, number one, and because it's they need it, number two, and number three, the hope. We have to continue hoping that we will rebuild every single structure that was destroyed. And we have to provide hope. We have to provide employment opportunities for people where they feel that they actually have the support of their colleagues. This is a project by Doctors Against Genocide for our colleagues in Gaza. We want them to have the means to do it. This is something that is not through a big NGO, not through a big, there is no bureaucracy, there is no red tape. This is something where we are collecting the money, we deposit the money in the account of the contractors in Gaza. Fortunately, they have bank accounts that are working. So for people who are wondering what's happening to the money, we just transferred the first money payment to Gaza. It arrived, we got the receipt, and it was exactly what we delivered. There was no commission. Miraculously, there is no commission. I think it's because it's a contractor account. There was no commission because it's not cash. It will go to the contractor account. The contractor pays his employees, pays the engineers, pays for the raw material that he has to buy, and they already cleaned up the section where they need to build. So the project is ongoing. Inshallah, it will be done in 2 months. What we are saying is that if there's a ceasefire, everything will be much easier to do. But at this point, despite the lack of ceasefire, we cannot give up on our people in Gaza. And that is why we're asking you to help us fundraise. It might seem like, what are you fundraising for? There is no food. Well, we need to rebuild. And we need to rebuild the hospitals for Al-Shifa. And we need our colleagues to actually have the means to build it because that's what they want.
Thank you, Karama. And I know a lot of people are asking and they're thinking such projects is inconceivable because they are asking, how are you going to get the money to Gaza? Where are they going to get the supplies? How are they going to do this? How are they going to do this? We are telling them this project is only possible because of people like Dr. Ahmed. People in Gaza and his colleagues do not give up. They destroy, we rebuild. We will not give up. I was watching the news all day today about Al-Shifa Hospital, and they've been Al-Shifa and Nasser, every hospital has been going through crisis. I know Al-Nasser Hospital has multiple mass casualty incidents today, but Al-Shifa had it the worst today. They had more than 40 to 50 murdered, injured, starved young men who went to the death trap called GHF. More than 100 injured people, most of them are critical injuries. And I saw it by my own eyes, the videos with the news channels, Al Jazeera, and everyone was broadcasting this. Al-Shifa Hospital just collapsed today. They could not keep up. Imagine yourself, you're already a damaged hospital, barely functional. Then all of a sudden you get 200 critically injured people. Just the scenes of the dead people, of the injured people there, the floors, the doctors, the nurses scrambling to do anything. It just makes the need for this hospital more urgent. So we're going to rebuild Al-Shifa, rebuild Al-Nasser, rebuild Gaza, rebuild Dr. Ahmed house, rebuild his farms, replant his trees. We are not going to give up. I know it sounds impossible, but nothing is impossible when the people wants it. So please donate, share the idea, and this not going to be this just the first major project, but it's not going to be the end. We're going to rebuild it all despite Israel and despite United States. Thank you. And I'm going to go back to the feedback. Go ahead, Karama.
So just a quick thing. It just occurred to me that we are asking people to do the press conference tomorrow at 12. It is short notice for sure, but there is Tuesday, there's Wednesday, there's Thursday, there's Friday, there's Saturday, there's Sunday. So every day is an opportunity for us to escalate, to keep pressing about what is happening to Gaza and keep engaging the media and keep engaging our colleagues. خلاص يعني. We have to keep doing it every single day. We cannot just keep, hoping that maybe the ceasefire will come or maybe the Trump will wake up.
And we want to thank all our supporters, all our colleagues, all people of good conscience in the world that in 1 week time, only 1 week, without doing any professional fundraising campaign for this project, we already had $100,000 online donations, more than $20,000 to $30,000 by checks coming in the mail, and more is coming. So the hope is not all lost. This is still our world, and we are gonna claim it back from the war machine, from the warmongers, and from people who do not value all lives equally. There is more of us, the good people, than of those bad people. So we, the good people, will unite. We have more power than the people in power. Thank you for your donations. For people who can donate money, thank you. For people who can donate their voice, thank you. Be the voice of the voiceless. For people who can donate a skill, for people who can donate an idea, for people who can donate an action, a sit-in, press conference. Every one of us, as Karama always says, every one of us can do something. We all have agency. None of us is completely crippled from doing anything. We can always do something. It can be simple, it can be small, but everything adds up. And thank you again for all those who donated. We encourage more people to donate. And again, it sounds impossible, but when you meet doctors like Al-Farra and his colleagues, they are doing the project themselves. That's why it's possible. Because if we ask any international organization to do this, they will say, no, we cannot do it. Well, I mean, where we're gonna go to get this, where we're gonna do that, it is doable only because the people of Gaza are doing it from A to Z. The only thing we are doing is we are just providing them the funds to enable them to rebuild Al-Shifa, Al-Nasser, Mustashfa Shuhada Al-Aqsa, everywhere that was destroyed in Gaza. Thank you, everyone, and I'm gonna go back to the open session. Dr. Shitab, we missed you. Go ahead, floor is yours.
I mean, it's been a bad couple of days, for all of us. Like I said, having to have these discussions amongst doctors about, how can we buy people a little bit more time? Like that was very much like the lowest point I think I've ever experienced as a physician. So it's, my mood isn't great. But, to paraphrase James Baldwin, I can't afford despair because you can't tell the children that there is no hope. So we just have to keep moving forward. Stopping's not an option. Thanks.
I see some hands raised by a lot of the people who are in Doctors Against Genocide membership. So Mesa, can you please bring them up so that they can feel included? Lisa, Avesta, Deep, Aziz.
Karama, do you think we have time for all of this? Because it's already 3:30.
At least so they can turn on their
Okay,
camera.
sure. Okay, now we go to Dr. Maribeth Brownlee from Pennsylvania.
You promoted me again. Not a doctor yet.
No, you are a doctor. Doug already
This
gave you the
habit.
degree.
That's what we need to
Kariban, inshallah. So in the sort of like esoteric academic discussion of supporting people through starvation and refeeding syndrome, I had forgotten, but came to remember I had actually been through some training about how do you access food sources and which ones to prioritize when there's no supermarkets or no food to buy, that you cannot buy food. And then went back to sort of the doctrine on that. And honestly, that we even have to discuss this. There's actually enough.
Don't be shy, Maribel. Tell us where you got this training and why. What were you doing at
When I
that
was in
time?
the army, it was survival training in case you get kidnapped and become a prisoner of war.
Yes.
And how do you evade and survive until you can get somewhere? That's a conflict of worlds right there. Black ants are going to be a good source of protein, vitamin C, and water. And they don't carry any pathogens. You don't have to cook them even to eat them. They have to be black, not red ants. And crickets. I would prioritize crickets. Crickets come with parasites potentially. Those parasites would be killed or neutralized if you cook them. And you can actually roast them and turn them into a powder. That if you roast them into a powder and make a little bit of a paste, you have that phosphorus. Crickets actually have a lot of phosphorus in them, that if you have a baby and there's nothing for them to drink and they can't eat solid yet, you can make a paste and put it in their mouth and they'll get protein and phosphorus and a lot of essential fatty acids. And I've eaten ants and crickets myself. You just pinch the head off the cricket and pull it. Is also going to pull the entrails out. It's not that it's inedible. It's that you also reduce any potential for parasite burden when you do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know there's rules for foraging. As soon as they realized people were catching things, they'd make a rule that you can't catch crickets. So, like...
Thank you, Maribeth. I hope we don't get to the point to need this, but it's a good info. Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing it.
She said, like, they don't even have, it's well and discuss it in a hospitalized setting if you can give an IV or oral rehydration solution. But what do you do for the people who don't have that?
Yeah, very important. Now we go next to Dr. Ritchie. Dr. Danny Ritchie, please. The floor is yours. Are you there, Danny?
Yes, I'm here. I haven't been, I didn't raise my hand, but Mary Beth, what you just gave as practical, something practical to do is wonderful. I'm also, I'm in terms of coordinating to do actions, I'm stuck on that, but I thank you, Karma, for suggesting that we don't have to do it tomorrow. I think I want us to have those pages, those suggestions, and even the call to action in our WhatsApp as soon as possible. So we have the link so we can start printing those up and sending it out to people so that we can organize. I am just hearing us talk about the saying, I would like to see that again in terms of Gaza is starving because the country is committing genocide. That's not exactly how it was phrased, but it is so frustrating to think that we created these international organizations to stop this kind of genocide, to stop genocide ever happening, and how ineffectual they are, because we have the United States and Israel just dictating what they want to do. And so I know that all of us are feeling the frustration of that. How to call the international community to account. There was the talk about the group that met, the 20 countries that met. I understand that there were 12 that committed. Knowing more about that, how they can help to activate more, again, to put the pressure on these on other countries. What were the list of the countries? We need to have information about that. Those are the things, those are what I'm reflecting on right now as I listen and as I've read our chats.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ritchie. Thank you for your insight and your reflections. And I agree, we need to share these in our groups, working groups in the WhatsApp about the dates, possible dates. Maybe we need to give people a little bit more time to organize, but we will discuss this and come back with a more, actionable plan soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your voice. And now I'm going to go to Dr. Lisa Hortis. She has also an important insight and suggestions regarding especially breastfeeding mothers and suggestions on how we can improve that. Lisa, are you there, Dr. Lisa?
Yes, this is
Go ahead.
Lisa.
It's yours.
So I'm a family doctor and a breastfeeding medicine specialist. And I don't feel like this kind of information should be only for extreme emergencies, but unfortunately, most people are not aware of the situations in which sometimes breastfeeding is possible. So I wanted to share a little bit about breastfeeding in emergencies. I'll share maybe another time with having a little more time. But I just wanted to let people know that in an emergency situation, if you have an infant, especially an infant up until 6 months of age, every possible effort should be made to support a mother to breastfeed that baby, or to find another lactating person or a person who could start lactating to feed that infant. So I'm directing this not at the women of Gaza, who are already making enormous sacrifices in their malnourished state, and not even to my healthcare worker colleagues in Gaza, who I think are also well aware of supporting breastfeeding to a great extent, but more for those healthcare workers those of us who are in touch with people in Gaza, and sometimes finding us in the situation of advising somebody. So breastfeeding can be restarted if it has stopped. Children, so not only infants, but young children can be breastfed. So even older infants that may have stopped, may have already weaned, and even some young children can be breastfed. If a mother is separated from her infant, and has any kind of source of nutrition, she can continue to express milk, and she could feed it to another child to maintain her milk supply for when she is reunited with an infant. So I just wanted to make sure that people were aware of these possibilities. The main piece of information that can save lives is that even if a mother is not producing enough milk at one moment, it is possible to increase milk supply milk production in some situations by just bringing baby to breast over and over again. I'll share some specific pieces of information that can help people out with all of this. On the other side of this, just thinking about myself as a physician in the United States, in the movement here, I just wanted to say that I really believe it's a massive moral, professional, international failure that we are now in a position of thinking of every possible piece of advice to stave off mass starvation, that malnourished women, we're asking malnourished women to sacrifice further their nutrition status to see if they can save more lives. And then like very concretely, I think we can add social media for those of us who cannot. So in our local case, we will probably do, I would think we're doing something on Wednesday because we have a vigil in front of our hospital on Wednesdays. But we could do social media. Those of us who can do a video just basically giving basic information or sharing some Doctors Against Genocide resources to add to the press conferences that happen on Monday. And I just want to encourage us. So it's very easy to be discouraged when we're witnessing such extreme violations of human rights as mass starvation or famine situation that is totally preventable and totally being enforced. But I am so grateful to DAG for having us focus on our agency. That we have to do something. We have to keep looking for things that we can do, ways to elevate our voices, and those of our colleagues in Gaza.
Thank you, Dr. Hortis. Thank you for your voice. And if anyone needs more advice, more suggestion about especially breastfeeding, please reach out to us or to Dr. Lisa. She can share her email in the comments. Now we're almost 4 hours into our webinar. We still want everyone to hear from more people. If anyone on the stage wants to speak, please raise your hand, but please make it brief because we don't have too much time. I see only one hand now is for Mr. Muqdad Al-Rawi. If anyone else wants to speak, please raise your hand and please make it short, less than 2 minutes, because we're already way behind on time. Muqdad, are you there? Muqdad Al-Rawi, you have your hands up? Okay. He might not be there. Anyone else? We have Aziz Rahman. Are you there?
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, Aziz. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for setting up this webinar. I'll keep it short. Alhamdulillah, I was given the opportunity to go to Gaza 3 weeks ago, and I met Dr. Al-Farah. And I met Dr. Al-Farah there.
Dr. Farah are buddies now?
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Okay,
So, but
you stole the light. Every week we have someone steal the light from all of us.
Alhamdulillah, it was such a blessing.
Now, Dr. Rahman.
How are you, my friend?
Alhamdulillah, so happy to see you and hear your voice and see the pictures of your home. Made me so sad. So Jazakallah khair for sharing that. Just a pleasure to have met you.
You know, the taste of chocolate is still in my mouth. Dr. Nidal, Dr. Aziz gave us a valuable gift for our colleague in my office. He gave for us as a gift some chocolate which is valuable with something inside it, and all of our colleagues were happy that they taste the chocolate, and they didn't taste it since nearly 2 years ago. Thank you, my friend. We will remember that for life, inshallah. Thank you.
Truly, that's the least. I mean, it's embarrassing that that's something that we can, find joy in, because that just shows the situation. But out of respect to everyone, I'll keep it very short. I think we're failing to realize the situation there, how catastrophic it is. It's not getting worse on a linear basis, but rather on an exponential basis, on a week-to-week basis. And also, all these academic conversations we're having are very helpful. But I think the problem in Gaza is also the lack of communication. We're not gonna be able to speak to the breastfeeding mom in the tent who's not gonna have access to medical care. She's not gonna walk 3 kilometers on her own with her 15-year-old who's probably going to the aid sites to get food, you know? So the communication to all the Gazans is a whole different issue. And I truly think has to be a systemic policy change, and it really has to be dramatic. I mean, I'm wondering how we as U.S. physicians can do anything. I'm a interventional radiologist in Milwaukee. I'm wondering, like, and it has to be urgent. I mean, can we set something up for next weekend where it's essentially a land flotilla to DC, where every physician in America who has the weekend off, you know, drive to DC, we meet up in our white coats. Hopefully we can get 1,000, 2,000, whether it be at the UN, you know, just to get the media out there, show there's 1,000 doctors in the white coat and we have like a little speech there or something. I don't really know. I'm just trying to think outside the box because it really has to be something dramatic. We are physicians. Can we use our, you know, appearance at least to document that something needs to change absolutely urgently? And this is it has to be a policy change. I think someone said it best that at the end of the day, Trump has to make the decision, and how are we going to even get his ear? And I just wanted to reflect on the one thing that I heard in this webinar. I forget exactly who said it, that it's a blessing to be having infertility in Gaza. Like that's something that I don't think anyone in the world has ever said on a societal level, and I completely understand why it was said. But I think we almost need to have like media journalists on these meetings to like document these so that they can write these up that this was said about society in Gaza. That's all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Rahman. Believe it or not, November 15, 2023, our first call to action from Doctors Against Genocide was a white coat march to DC. November 15, 2023. And we've been trying since then to get enough doctors to come with us. The first march was just me, Dr. Karama, Dr. Adla. Only 4 or 5 doctors from the whole United States showed up. Thankfully, the numbers have been getting better. We're having maybe 50, 70, sometimes 100 doctors. But this call, as you said, things are getting worse exponentially. And we need to try it again, revisit it again. I think we are going to discuss this in our groups and maybe come up with a call to action for all doctors, all healthcare workers from all over the United States have one day off. And I know that we can all afford a one day off to go to DC in front of the White House, in front of the Department of State, or anywhere that makes a difference to pressure our leaders, especially the president, to do something. And it does always have a special value when it comes from doctors, from nurses, from healthcare workers. So thank you for the suggestion. Thank you for reminding us. Again, the fact that did not work before does not mean we do not need to try it again. And the situation is getting worse, which means we need to escalate and think outside the box and find, never leave a stone without turning it over and see if we can come up with something. So thank you for your sacrifice for going to Gaza. We appreciate you. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate your heart. And we appreciate that you represent the minority of doctors, healthcare workers here in the West who live up to their oath to save lives, not just to use their oath and their mission just to make money. Because unfortunately, our community, as all other communities, all our physicians, are failing their oath. They are failing why they went to school to save lives. So thank you, Dr. Rahman. Go ahead, Karam. You are muted, Karama. You are muted, Karama.
People are asking where are the resources. I put some links in the chat for the signs for to do an action like this with a press conference. Also, please visit our website. We have a lot of resources. We have a description of the Sick from Genocide campaign. We have a description for Bread Not Bombs, and now we're doing this press conference for the Gaza is being starved to death. So there is a lot of resources if you want inspiration for something to do in front of your hospital or in front of your supermarket or in front of your neighborhood park. It's we need to be activated because the media is complicit, and when they see us as doctors and nurses, the chances for this to be picked up are better. And that's the bottom line, in my opinion. We need to raise awareness. We need people to know that this is happening, and we need people to know that the medical professional in the US are very opposed to it. It's it's like our honor in our profession.
And we're also open to suggestions. Anyone who could not speak today, did not get the chance to speak, and they have more ideas about more effective action that can be done, please email us at info@doctorsagainstgenocide.org. Anyone who needs suggestions, please visit our website or reach out to any one of us. But the email info@doctorsagainstgenocide.org. I want to go to Dr. Jack Azzi. Dr. Jack Azzi, are you still there? I saw you raise your hand at one
Yeah,
point.
I'm
Go
still
ahead.
there.
The floor is yours. Sorry about the wait, but again, it's a busy day. Tfadal.
No, I don't want to take a lot of your time, and I want to thank everyone for this. I think we are out of words to describe what's happening. It's truly unbelievable. It's shocking with every sense, but more shocking is we look at our Arab colleague and Arab friends, Arab family in our countries, and they're living their lives as if nothing is happening. So I'm wondering if we should not do actions that target these countries or these people, pressure them. I mean I don't know. I don't have any solutions. I don't have any ideas, any concrete ideas. But I feel like it's so demoralizing to see all the countries around Gaza like living their best life with absolutely zero thinking, zero actions, zero mobilization. Um, I'm also thinking about the situation in Syria and how Israel is now is like putting community against each other, how they're using like religion to for people to fight each other. And I'm wondering, do we have do we have access to religious people who can remind people of what's happening in Gaza? I mean, I'm really puzzled. I'm so shocked because in Beirut in 2005 or 2006, um, I remember when someone made burn a Quran or made a joke. People protested in the street and they burned embassy. And now I don't know how many mosques the IDF has destroyed. I don't know how many imam they killed. I don't know. And you see complete silence. And not only complete silence, but you see the Israeli entity is using religion to its side. It's prepping religious community against each other in Lebanon, in Syria. In Syria now, there's this big. We're seeing it in front of us. They're prepping both sides against each other to control and take more land. So I'm wondering if we have any action towards our community to push them more. Man, that's all I have to say.
Please join us here in our chat, our groups. Let's keep talking about brainstorming ideas. But we wanna also share for everyone who saw Dr. Ahmed House before the earlier picture. This is how Dr. Ahmed Al Farra House looks now, completely destroyed. All the trees are gone. We want to use this opportunity today to promise Dr. Ahmed and promise the people of Gaza that we will not give up on them and that we are gonna rebuild every house, every hospital, every building, every life in Gaza, despite all those who are profiting and complicit in the genocide. Dr. Ahmed, you got our promise for you, for your colleagues, for everyone in Gaza that inshallah we are gonna rebuild everything. Anyone
My
else
my
wants to share?
my
Dr.
friend, we will share and we will put hand with each other, and inshallah we will make our community in our land in Palestine, in Diafa, in Khalil, in Nablus. This is our country, and we will not lose it, inshallah Rabbil Alameen. We will regain it again and again, because this is Palestine. Since old centuries, it's Palestine. Nothing is Israel. They have to come back to Poland. They have to come back to France. They have to come back to the community. This is our land, and we will not lose it, inshallah.
Thank you. Yes, we will not give up. We will not rest until Palestine is free from the river to the sea, until every house is rebuilt, until every tree is replanted, until the indigenous people of the land get their full liberation and they become the sole decider of what needs to be done in this land. Not the occupation, not the genocidal project, not the West. The Palestinian people are the only people in the world who have the only right and the only decision-making capacity to what needs to be done in Palestine. Not the Zionist entity, not Israel, not the United Nations, not America. It's Dr. Ahmed, it's me, it's Karama, it's every Palestinian, whether they are living there or they are in diaspora. This is our land, and we are the sole owners of this land, and only us will decide what needs to be done and what justice looks like. And again, we don't hate people. We are not for killing people. We did not invade anyone. We did not steal the land of anyone. We were just sitting there in our homes, in our yards, in our groves, in our orchards, our olive orchards in Jaffa, where Dr. Ahmed came from, and they invaded us. The West invaded us, and we want our land back, comes hell or high water. And no one will tell us what the future should look like or what decisions should be made for the future. We own it and we make the decision, and everyone else should comply. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Anyone else needs to speak, please? I think it's already 4 o'clock. Anyone else, if you have 1 minute? Karama, I'm sorry, I know you're sick, you're tired, but thank you. I think we're all done for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we will continue brainstorming. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed, for showing up, for making us feel stronger every time you show up here.
Thank
Your
you, my brother.
steadfastness, your resilience, your integrity, you and your colleagues is something that is inspiring to all of us, to the medical community all over the world. You are the true heroes of the medical community. You are the one who are sacrificing everything and not giving up on their patients, on their people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Free Palestine from the river to the sea, and we'll see you inshallah next Sunday. And in the meantime, we need a week of action coming up. Please, everyone come up with action. You can do it on your own. You can coordinate with us, but we need to do something. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Alright,
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Allah yahmeek. Allah yahmeek.
thank you for our
Assalamu
speakers,
alaikum.
and thank you for Iman, who was amazing today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.